Hello, everyone. I beat him to the punch. You took a little big breath in, took a breath in, and then I beat you to it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2024.
Thank fuck. Finally, we're in one that's divisible by 2. We're in an even year, and that means a lot to me. And now I know that an odd year can also be shut up, brains. Hello, it's 2024. Woo!
Are you being serious about even years meaning a lot to you? Or are you just saying things?
No, it's just like, for some reason, if I'm like changing the volume in the TV and it's like 17, I will make it either 16 or 18.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, I actually think you're like, I don't know if you're taking piss, but I genuinely feel that way. I always feel more comfortable when the year is even. I don't know why that 2020 was different. That was 2 even. I think something wrong. But I genuinely have psychotic behavior. Shh. Don't think about it. So yeah, now that it's 2024, an even year, and it's a leap year too. We have an extra day, which means an extra day of content. And that's why this is World of Warcraft's best year, as it says in the title, because there's one more day of World of Warcraft.
Best year in the last 4 years.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's like, okay, I'll be honest. Not an awful lot has happened in World of Warcraft. Very little has happened, one might say.
But we do know when the seeds will sprout.
Yeah, we know when things are going to happen. Were you born in an even year? No. So yeah. Seeds of Renewal is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a patch, which looks like you go, it's 10.25. Dragonflight's over. Who gives a shit? Dragonflight's over. That was the last raid. We've seen how it ends, etc., etc. Except for the fact that we haven't, because they're doing something new this time around.
Darkheart.
Yeah, Darkheart, which is coming after that. But even Seeds of Renewal itself will have some Dragon Isles epilogue quests. So there's like, we're going to try something a little bit new this stream, because there's not been a whole bunch of news to talk about. There's not even been any drama. No one's fought about anything, which is kind of weird. Everyone must just be tired over Christmas. No one's like...
It's deeply disappointing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to try something new, which is stealing content from other people. Not literally, but ideas. So
Thievery. Fantastic.
Yes, so... It's a transmog farm patch. Yeah, kind of is a little bit. And yeah, Visiden, yeah, Nijikex, etc. But one of the fun things that we're going to do today is a retrospective on 2023 and how 2023 went for World of Warcraft. And if you'll stick around, we'll do it patch by patch. Because I think we all have ideas of what it is, right? We all have ideas of how Dragonflight's been. And we'll talk about the PC Gamer article. Because PC Gamer had an article saying, right, here's World of Warcraft, best year, Dragonflight owned, etc., and a lot of other things. So I think we should probably take time to look at it objectively, or as objectively as we can remember, and talk about how things actually went at the time. And then we can also talk about this year. What's coming, what isn't coming, and mostly what we think will actually happen in terms of actual predictions. Because you know it'll be fun. Coming back here next year and seeing how fucking stupid we were. Or how right we were. Maybe.
I wish we did this last year.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's like, damn, that would have been really fun to do. So I guess we should do it from plan ahead more than 30 minutes at a time.
Which is a theme for things we'll be doing. And maybe we'll talk about the sort of big, hang on, let me get my camera. There. Oh, incredible. There's a different energy and vigor going into this year. But yes, let us begin. I said that as if he had something ready to go whenever I was like, let us begin.
Yeah, I didn't.
So I suppose ready. Launch of Dragonflight.
Yes. So.
Oh.
We have our stuff.
Hang on, let me get the show notes up. I should probably do that.
We are extremely prepared at all times, I'll have you know. We are extremely capable content creators.
Been making sort of preparations, but...
yes.
Different ones than before. So
definitely.
Time to go. Where are we going? Or are we just freestyling?
I'd say we'll just go into, I think before we start the retrospective, before we start the predictions, we'll actually talk about what people we'll talk about the big things that have changed, the newer things to talk about, the meat of things. And then we can get into that a little bit later once we've warmed up a little bit. So the first thing I thought that we could maybe talk about is the dialogue, because there is something new that's happened.
Oh!
Which is, it's rolled around to January. So the trading post items have come out. And then people put them on. And I don't know why people did this. Maybe they had a hunch. Maybe the secret finders are all just in cahoots with Blizzard. But there's some dialogue found. when you
Yes,
specifically
I have
wear
seen this.
this.
This is very cool.
Yeah, so thanks to Wohead for the presentation of this. It made it very easy to see.
It still cracks me up that it's called Seatheris.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, Sargeras, you were very pent up and frustrated and seething for a very long time. But yes, if you wear these weapons, things happen.
Yeah, so there's the Twilight Cultist in Silithus, and if you go to speak to him with any of the weapons, actually it's literally dialogue, and this is transmogged on, you don't have to actually wear them, which I think is very, very cool.
Yep.
Because it is, like, obviously dialogue teasing the future. It is genuinely foreshadowing, and it's not, like, super major, but it's cool. It's fun. It's a nice little reward. And, as always, it does give us a little bit of opportunity to talk about Blizzard setting up expectations and potentially playing with them, because that's the fun thing. We have no idea how the story is going to go in the next couple expansions, and it could go any number of ways. And this is good at teasing us that it could go different ways.
So let's just plow straight in. So if you've got Gorodar or Seatheris, which are replicas of Sargeras' big sword that he left in the sand, the Twilight Hermit says, that weapon you hold, you should not have brought it here. I warned you before that the end times are coming. That weapon you wield proves it. So clearly he knows something about the trading post that we don't. It emanates the same energies that coursed through the Dark Titan's blades. Why did he strike this place? He was far too masterful a tactician to choose his target by chance. His crusade sought to eradicate all life from existence. Do you think his final act before being captured by the Pantheon would not be in service to that goal? Tread carefully, lest you inadvertently find yourself serving the same cause.
Interesting.
Wow. So, Matt, what if you are the war within? Okay, right. So this Twilight Hermit NPC had been used for loads of teasing in the past. I don't believe he's the... Oh, do you remember the the ogre character?
Yes, I remember.
That was all fun before BFA. Anyhow, basically, this is saying, what if did that for sort of, on purpose. Now, the whole thing that people for the longest time had thought was that basically, and I mean, you even called it Seatheris. Was basically that he was just kind of like, fuck you, you can't have her anyway. That's what everybody thought. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how it was, communicated. There's the whole, he sort of locks eyes with Azeroth after the War of the Ancients, and then becomes very infatuated with this planet. Yeah,
so it's a shame it's called like Gorodar instead of like Copadar or something, because then you could say seething and coping, which would be really funny. But yeah, what this kind of says is, or what implies at least from this cultist perspective, is that he did strike to kill. He aimed to kill her. He wants to eradicate all life in existence, kill Azeroth. I'm sure that'll kill everything. If Azeroth is dead, there's no way that life on Azeroth would survive, ostensibly, right? So I imagine that's what this guy is saying specifically, as opposed to him, being a massive simp.
So the thing about like my head being scrambled is I immediately thought, okay. In what roundabout way could this help his plan? You're just like, no, he tried to kill her with the sword. That's why he stabbed it. That's the story. Stop speculating, dickhead. And that does make a lot more sense.
I'm not saying to stop speculating, because obviously this comes from a pretty unreliable narrator as a character.
Bollocks, he knows what's up.
But at the same time, it's very clear. It's very clear. Hello, everyone. Believe me or believe me not, he tried to kill her. Shut up. Is kind of what this might be saying a little bit. So there is also...
Even the way he said, do you think it would not be in service to that goal? Yeah. It's just that way of like, the final thing to win, that doesn't feel like, in service to that goal. That means that this step is in service to the wider goal. Which
kill Azeroth, everything ends.
And it almost makes me think that in the opinion of this particular character. Actually, there's another story that happened, just because I'm thinking about this being, a narrative, or sorry, this is the perspective of a character. There was a new publication.
Publication?
Yeah, a new Blizzard book came out, Codex of Dragonflight.
Oh, yeah.
all that I saw was a PC Gamer article talking about tweets from the usual suspects. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll have something to look into there. But anyway, no, I have to imagine, like, yes, there is the very overt, he just tried to kill her. And hey, would it not be good if the big sword won? But you could then maybe also wonder, is there anything else to that? And also, if he's such a masterful tactician, how did he know about the jailer?
Yeah. So,
Matt, this is, I don't know about you.
Uh-huh.
This is my first mention of Zoval in the new year.
I hadn't even thought about it.
I lasted 5 days. How many Zoval 2024 cherries have I just popped? How many of you thought about Zoval over the last 5 days? I'm so sorry.
I sure didn't. Thanks, fucko.
Me too. That's why it was a good holiday. And to signify the return to normal life, your boy's back. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't really know, like, yes, there's the just killer, but also are there any second order effects?
So yes, and I'll tell you why. Because there's the bit of the thing that changed, like he stopped talking, or he changed his dialogue when the sword struck. He just go, this is a long time ago. But he did say the whispers he's speaking to me on that day the wound opened. So, you know, because someone in chat actually reminded me, someone there said maybe he like stabbed and killed Cthulhu. Yeah, Crylator said, do you think Sargeras stabbed Silthus to destroy Cthulhu and be the good guy to save us from Xal'atath's plan to catch them all? I'm not sure about the save us from Xal'atath's plan, although they are definitely going to be ideologically opposed. But obviously, if something shut up after it got stabbed, well, that implies he killed something that was doing a bit of whispering, which you could imply would be the remnants of Cthulhu. Or something along those lines.
I'm just saying, when did Illyria's whispers start up again?
They started after Nizal's dead. Nizal's death.
I'm out by one expansion. Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, please lower your weapon. I mean you no harm. The whispers ceased speaking to me on the day the wound opened. Sorry, wait, which NPC is that?
This is the same guy.
And now he's saying this again.
Yeah, so he said this. He said this after the thing got stabbed.
Yeah, he says that at the end of Legion.
Yeah.
The goat, I can see it in your eyes. You have seen the vision, the goat, the pool, drowning in icy blackness. Does this sound familiar? I can tell you its meaning. It means we are fast closing in the end of the world, friend.
So this was all leading into BFA.
So goats.
Yeah, it was all BFA era stuff.
Yeah. Goat. People often associate your boy Yasharj with goats.
Yeah.
And many people have. And I can't believe it. This is a harebrained speculation video that we haven't done.
Really?
We've never really got to the point of doing a Yasharj video.
A goat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because...
Like, it's always been a bit
dead.
cringe, but it's always felt like quite like, oh, okay, I can sort of...
Because all that was left of him was a heart, and then Garrosh sucked the juice out of it. Then there was nothing left. Time to go back into that boss room and see exactly what happens.
Then we killed Sargeras. Sorry.
No, we didn't.
Then we killed Garrosh.
That we did, yes.
I will not try to tie it back to the jailer.
No, because Garrosh... no. Yeah. I was just
wouldn't
gonna
seriously try to do that.
Yeah. I was going to have a whole lot of thoughts about like Garrosh and go like, oh well, did Garrosh bring some semblance of Yasharj back to the past? And then the only sensible voice left in my brain went, "Would you stop? Would you stop? Clearly, don't worry about it. Clearly, don't think about it at all." So I don't know if the goat is Yasharj in capacity or Yasharaj, as is actually pronounced, which is wrong. It's not written that way. But anyway.
Hey, remember, Nazjatar.
Nazjatar, yes.
Nazjatar! Oh, yes, Selly sausages.
So like
I suppose I'm just thinking, right? Icy blackness, pools, goats. Obviously, this was the same time everyone was enjoying the secret finding community, Una, which also involved some goat-related business. There's just quite a lot. Now there are those various Yasharj, little rumors, Yasharaj rumors and things that people have. I don't know, because, right, what he basically, the last time we talked to him, this time, he talks about all these old god sounding visions, which, look, that's not feeling particularly off.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, like, to be really frank, I'm just like, this is all kind of old stuff, so I'm not too worried about it at this point in time. I'm like, it's fine. If there's a goat that'll show up, like...
Matson's probably not thinking, no, this patch 7.3.5 dialogue has scuppered my entire plot. Anyway, so point is, he thinks the world's about to end. Now, the Doomsayer dialogue, the Doomsayer pamphlets and all that stuff was really cool. And I'm actually kind of frustrated because I think about it was either last year or the year before that. Who really knows? It's all a blur. But we did a video on that. I remember Jared just came to me in the office one day. He's like, "Hey, Doomsayers," and he like, it was at that stage where he had already cooked quite significantly. So yeah, maybe some of that Doomsayer dialogue could actually be relevant again. Actually, no, it was not last year because it was toward the end of Shadowlands. And it was one of those things where the interpretations are obviously way more cool and interesting than the game we were playing. But anyhow, so he basically thinks that we're fast closing in at the end of the world. And the final thing that he says, if you are using this blade, is tread carefully lest you inadvertently find yourself serving the same cause. Now, that's all kind of interesting because you sort of think about this character. He's he's a Twilight cultist, Twilight hermit, right? Well, you know, he's been quite cordial to us.
Yeah, Twilight hermit.
So yeah, he's been quite cordial. He's been quite nice. He's just saying, hey, by the way, maybe you don't want to end life. So serving that same cause,
Ending life.
Who wants to do that? Because Void doesn't want to.
Sargi does. Just Sargi.
Big Sargi does.
Yeah, no one else particularly has that intention that we know of. Which, I guess, how do I put this? We'll talk about a little bit more once we've seen the other ones, but it definitely feels like we're at the crossroads of there are a lot of different causes bearing down on us, and what we end up doing or what we end up achieving will differ depending on who we make allegiances with. Or basically, we need to understand what we're actually doing in case we do something wrong. Because in this case, right, we end up killing all of the Void people and just go, well, those guys were purple and we didn't like purple, so they're all dead now. And we go, look, we've just caused a horrible imbalance and now one force is going to win over the other and that'll wipe out everything else. Is I think kind of the thought.
Boo!
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, so I said that in a very cosmic balancy way, but it would be represented in a character way. It would be represented in with Xal'atath's like plot foiled entirely, that means there's no opposition to Sargeras breaking out of prison and slicing the world in half.
It's like what I want is for that to be like Xal'atath as her own, whatever the fuck she is.
As character with motivation. Yeah.
Doing things.
Yeah.
That's like, I think okay, right. So even, the whole that whole Cosmic Force thing has been really weird because, it's like all these charts and graphs and external stuff and people using capitalized words in the middle of sentences that shouldn't be capitalized.
Remember the Blade of Order, if it was from the Time Rifts?
Blade of Order. That does serve to it does serve to make things more impersonal.
Yeah.
It's why like a lot of this being represented via Xal'atath actually wanting to do something that's good because she's a character with motivations and she's kind of got all the things you could want, seems highly motivated, seemingly has been deeply wronged in the past, has a relationship with the player, has a large place in history and Season of Discovery, it would seem.
We'll talk about that, and don't worry.
Oh yeah. I'm excited because the way we've done it is we've decided to come back to work in like low power mode of just, let's think some thoughts, and production will begin on the 8th of January, which is in 3 days. But I know Jared he's been cooking up something about Xal'atath. So I'll probably record.
I don't know if he has a video. I know there's a ghost post that's ready to go up over the weekend.
Oh.
So if I remember to hit the button on that, it will be up there.
Interesting. Yeah,
but yeah, basically, Season Discovery has a lot of Xal'atath. We'll cannibalize some of that for today because it is interesting to talk about. Like, Xalatath isn't in the thumbnail for no reason. It is implied that what you say there about it being impersonal and them turning to characters is very apparent. Because, I mean, what's even the three we see here, right? Obviously, this to continue a little bit, to spoil, there's stuff for Sargeras and his weapons. There's stuff for the Titan weapons, the Titan design weapons, and then there's the Void Song, Stave of the Harbinger. So, those will represent, to me, I think, probably the three antagonists we're aware of. We've got Sargeras, who's a bad guy, and he's on break for a minute. We've got Xalatath, the bad guy, who's at the top of all of our, like...
She's not bad guy.
What?
She's not bad guy. Shut up.
Shut up.
She's
She's being framed as a bad guy for now. Let's say that.
That goes against my deeply held personal beliefs.
Yeah, cool. But the feeling is she's a bad guy because she's a bad guy in this. So basically what they've done is they've taken these cosmic forces and they've given them faces. They've given them characters with their own motivations. Because you look at Order and you look at, well, what's Order? It's a Titan. But then you go, well, what did they do in the book in the Emerald Dream? They made Aman'Thul look like an asshole again.
Yep.
But they made him look like an asshole ahead of Enar and to Enar, which no longer means, oh, it's the Titans and the force of Order is coming to make everything boring and mechanical. Now it's Aman'Thul's an asshole and he wants his way. Xalatath is someone who apparently has some grand ambition for the world and was wronged and betrayed, so she wants revenge. And Sargeras is a guy who's lost his mind. In a way that's like lost his mind for a good reason. Mm-hmm. Saw the ultimate doom and became the aggressive murderous nihilist. The anti-natalist of the universe.
Yes, that's it. In fact, we have the pantheons of the different cosmic orders. What if it is just the mods of a few subreddits? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's r/anti-natalist and anti-work, and that's the whole cosmic order. But I mean, basically.
Exactly. So what they've done here is they've taken the impersonal cosmic force led like A plot that drove us all mad for a couple of years.
Yes, it did.
And now for a couple of years, I mean, it wasn't too bad. Legion leaned into it a little bit. BFA leaned a little bit too much into it, but it still had N'Zoth and it still had Ashara as characters. But then in Shadowlands, it all went a wee bit. Why is this overtly the focus? Why is it so clearly the focus at all points in time? But
the thing is, right, and not to really negate this is in its own little fucking vacuum, and then we are moving away from the Shadowlands. Look, I don't want to sit here and say I wish the Shadowlands had more cosmic orders in it, but actually, what if it actually told a story instead of had us do things about sigils?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it could have made some of that good, but instead, it was just fucking lazy MacGuffin bullshit. But anyway, yes, I mean. You're right. I think there's almost a statement of intent in the cinematic, mm-hmm. right? Because the cinematic is more, here are characters and real motivations. Imagine if the guy who wrote that cinematic turned around and made it just be, it's the Cosmic Order chart trying to kill each other. And I like how sort of amidst all of those things, you've got kind of Ashara, floating about. It's funny, like War Within. I don't want to say like War Within is, victim of the old era, but, War Within is, it is what it is. I don't know what, no, we haven't seen any of it
It's going to be Act 1, right? That's the thing.
The thing that's, I guess, in my head is, Midnight looks really, really, really cool. Because Midnight's the one that's like, hey, here are all those bits of Warcraft 3 you liked, and all your bits of this and that. Oh, they're all here. And then the next expansion's like, that other bit of Warcraft 3 you liked? There you go, have that. Where I don't know. I just think it's telling in how things are kind of like constructed and set up that, we do have this one expansion that obviously would have been in many parts planned like ages ago, and before you had the big Metzen return, because I think he returned for consulting, but then, it's that thing. How much was he always back, and how much does that sort of correlate to, Blizzard continually re-announcing, hey, we've just given Metzen another senior title. Post that they did multiple times last year. I did kind of hear from like people in the know that it was quite a like, hey Chris, what's going on? What do you think? But that's old information, and it really does seem like he's a lot more involved. So I suppose War Within will have been.
We have a quote from an interview that will actually help that.
Oh, good. Because some things I've heard, like War Within, many parts of that were sort of already, on their way. And this sort of new era with the WoW team is kind of taking everything that they've got and then doing actual long-range planning, making that actually go somewhere. So War Within, in the same way, Dragonflight, it was a result of many lessons from Shadowlands. I think War Within will be that. I then think like Midnight onwards is where we start to see the like newer and newer and newer vision for things. And I still have to wonder, like they say there's some feature in Midnight that will blow people's minds. That's that quote, by the way. That's not me being like, Do you remember the reviews for Titanfall? I think was it just IGN? Believe the hype. I'm not doing that.
God, Titanfall 2 is good. Anyway,
what a game.
I should replay it again.
We've gone as far as the first one.
Yeah, we've got that very far. I just want to say, Zervin said the War Within seems like an expansion-sized prologue for Midnight and the Last Titan. It's going to feel that way to us now, and I did just say the War Within feels like it's going to be like an Act 1 to Midnight's Act 2 and War Within's Act 3, but I imagine as soon as we actually see things happen, it'll change. It's literally because they haven't told us stuff happens. When it's like it's an expansion, it has to have a beginning, middle, and end. So I think things definitely will happen, but yeah, there'll be that vibe until we see it through. They definitely have a lot of like the first chunks of the War Within and the epilogues to Dragonflight have a lot of work to do to like actually, start the sprint that is the next two expansions. But
well, hey, like we've just seen Darkheart. Like I saw Darkheart and I kind of went, ooh, cool.
Yeah, more or less the same.
And for our next thing, though, we've got Tesavir and Mythorus, which are titanic weapons. So when we bring these weapons to our Twilight Hermit, the Twilight Hermit says, the blade you hold, it profanes this place. To bring a weapon like that here is to invite destruction. The Titans care only about their precious order. They would sacrifice anything to achieve it, including their own followers. Even the Dark Titan had a pattern to his actions, a cold logic intended to impose his perfect vision and the willingness to eradicate existence if he could not achieve his ends. Do you think the rest of his kind are any different? Only in method, not in goal. Be careful that you do not blindly become a part of their plan. Now, I want to just contrast our two ending statements of tread carefully lest you inadvertently find yourself serving the same cause, and be careful you don't blindly become part of their plan.
Man, they were so close to being full score on the Thesaurus, but they reused carefully and careful.
Tread warily!
Yeah, if that was like be wary or be vigilant, then we would have full score on the you've said the same thing but with different words.
Where's our Booker Prize? Where's our Booker Prize for big small words? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think is interesting. It is literally two sides of the same coin of they're both bastards that want to use you for a reason. Don't just serve that reason. Try to be your own thing in the middle of it all.
I mean, this is, the popular clicker game about the paper clips. It's also a kind of that clicker game about the paper clips is an extrapolation of a thought experiment of like, what if you made an AI and you gave that AI, one goal? It's like, hey, you're the AI running the paperclip factory. Now what happens if that AI ends up getting full control of everything and it tries to turn all of existence into paperclips? And then instead of reality, you have paperclips. They're like, is that Earth? Paperclips. Is that the sun? Paperclips. I don't know if it can just be like, quarks. We will put you in our big quark storage and turn you into paper clips. Who knows? But anyway, it is, and actually, this also ties to Diablo, where the angels of the high heavens are big dickheads. and Tyrael's a good boy, and the reason why Tyrael's a good boy is because it seems that he can actually see a little bit of the greyness. That said, that's also me mostly talking about the Tyrael of Diablo 3. The Tyrael of Diablo 3 is, I think, one that felt a bit different to the Tyrael of Diablo 2. Whereas, like, in 2, it's still more, like, you know, big, scary. I mean, they obviously went with, like, a more personal story with Inarius. Inarius, though, is obviously not in the in-group upstairs. Yeah, it's sort of going... You know, Diablo was going that whole idea of, you know, between the heavens and the hells. Actually, neither are particularly good in that, you know, if the high heavens are kind of ruling all, that actually is going to be turbo terrible oppression.
Extreme's bad.
Extreme's bad. So I suppose they're probably thinking about the Titan thing. It does remind me, actually, this is a video that I first scoped out on the plane to BlizzCon. I should really get around to making it. And I later found some of the Hearthstone. So Hearthstone did a Titan expansion, and there are just really nice card art of basically like vines and shit being destroyed by Aman'Thul. I think it's that, or maybe it's one of the Titans anyway. Anyway, the point basically, I think, with the Titans is... would you say if they win, it's going to be closer to like... ecosystem collapse, life sort of, because, you know, their whole thing is, you know, life is kind of really tough for the Titans to deal with. In the same way, you know, you're trying to keep your garden good, and you're like, excuse me, Mr. Plant, you have grown in a way that is unpleasing. You shall now be destroyed. I say this after spending part of my Christmas. What?
Christmas?
Christmas.
You've invented a new holiday.
There we go. I was pruning trees with my dad, so there you go. Apparently, I'm sorry to say, but I've followed. Me and my dad have been agents of Aman'Thul with our fucking... Man, they have electric pruners now. You hold the button and the jaws of that pruner just goes... and destroys what's in it. It's amazing. Anyway, I don't know. If I slip Aman'Thul one of those, we're all fucked. So I wonder, though, this Twilight cultist is kind of warning us whenever, you know, he sees us with Gorabal. Also then with the Titans, sort of a very similar warning. Because ultimately, he's actually saying that Sargeras is just another Titan. Mm-hmm. He's just... Here's the thing. I knew what the pills meant back whenever I watched The Matrix. And I knew, okay, we got the red pill and we got the blue pill.
Got some new ones as well.
I think there's some other pills. I think there's a purple one. There's a black one as well.
I don't actually know what the other ones are, except for black and white.
I don't know what the Doomer Nihilist pill is.
That's a black pill.
Okay, so I think Sargeras is just a black pill Titan.
He's black pill, yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Big time. He saw no possible good future without eradicating everything. And that's effectively like the ultimate. Obviously, people look at like a darker nihilism is to just lie down and die, but you know.
But the thing there, and actually this is where the modern Blizzard team actually has something they can work with, because just think about probabilities, right? Because the point here is that in these very ordered beings, they make their calculus, and whatever happens, you know, but based on that calculus, right? But obviously, you know, theory's only theory. So at some point, they are just going to be like, all right, we believe what we believe with a high enough, you know, sort of degree of certainty, we'll do it. As if it is the only thing that could ever be done. And that's the whole point of the fight with Algalon. So the whole fight with Algalon was basically Algalon being all like, well, you can't beat me because I maths and you die, and we need to hit the reset button, sorry. Then you beat him and he's like, oh shit, you violate my math's wrong, you live. And that kind of illustrates, I think, some of the Titan thinking. And that's basically the point.
Fuck, I love Gurren Lagann.
And it's, oh man, it's like if you're Blizzard, you're like, okay, we've got all of these things as expressed by a character like Zoval in the Shadowlands, and then we've got what people play during Wrath of the Lich King. We need to make all of this feel like we're fighting Algalon back in the day. And absolutely not like the modern shit. Because you know the people, and we get them in the comments all the time, and it's not really their fault, really, because of how sort of poorly the stories have been told recently. The whole, like, Titan's bad. Titans good? Never really? I mean, they were just sort of big godlike beings. I don't know if we ever thought they were good, other than we knew they fought things that we thought were bad. But then Algalon happens, so it's like from midway through Wrath of the Lich King, you know that not all, you know that the Titans installed a reset button on the world you're on. That's 2009? Oh, when was...
I think it was 2009, because I was World War.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, for the vast majority of World of Warcraft's entire existence, from the perspective of, like, I think most of the lore community, it's always been a bit of, like, some people would say Titan sus, other people would just say, I mean, yeah, maths. That's just how they think. They're, extreme thinking.
Yeah, a little bit of, like, they did a lot of good, but at the same time, and this is kind of the case of a lot of things and like allies and stuff, where you're allied but not to the very end. Like, you get along with the Titans perfectly fine up until a point, and then they say, well, actually, we don't like the way you decorate the planet, so we're going to have to get rid of you, and then you have to have a fight. But in every other way, you can actually be reasonably, like, allied and reasonably motivated to do the same things. In the same way, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. That's always been the Titans kind of vibe. But it came from, I think that might just be from, like, the case of how Titans were, talked about in, like, vanilla. And that was they're the mysterious progenitor race of sorts who, were talked about as gods. And obviously the vast majority of people playing, like, World of Warcraft vanilla and most anything at the time were largely of the opinion that God is good as an idea. I think we're substantially more secular as a society now, like nearly 20 years later. Yeah. And there's a lot more cultural idea of, oh, what if God bad? Because of how media's obviously happened. I mean, you look at any time there's a Japanese game and you're like, there's a church or a chapel. I wonder who's going to be the bad guy here.
It's the totally not Pope. I guess he'll be my friend.
Yeah, exactly. And that's obviously like a lot of people's initial perspective was they were talked up really well. They were kind of connected to the light in a roundabout way because that's where, like, obviously in hindsight we know Tyr brought light to humans because he was a good Titanic keeper and like that, like almost a little bit of crossed wires there over Titan's good kind of thing. So like that, I can see where that came, but like you say, you're completely correct in that we knew since we met Algalon that we're not going to be, the credits aren't going to roll and there's not going to be a post-credit scene of us skipping down the road with Alan Philbin and like, and we're best friends forever and we all want the same thing. Nothing like that's going to happen. This is going to be, right, well, we're glad everyone else is dead, Amanthil. Let's fight. Let's. This planet's only big enough for one of us.
Totally.
Like it's gonna be that.
Yeah, because we're like, great, all the threats are done. Well, anyway, we want to go and do things, and he'll be like, well, what? No.
Do things?
You don't do.
That's not part of my plan.
No.
Also, it does remind me, we actually have seen a glimpse of what might be, not literally the Titans' planned future, but a similar one.
Oh.
Remember Battle for Azeroth?
Yes.
Remember 8.1? No, 8.2. Remember 8.2? Remember we had Nazjatar? And remember we had
Megajon, yep.
And remember Megajon's King Megajon was walking around going, what if everybody was a robot gnome? And people didn't take that very seriously because it was, gnomes, which was kind of part of the plot of it, or part of the point of it being a little bit goofy, a little bit more side content-y compared to Ashara and Nazjatar and the Eternal Palace. But at the same time, it was like they brought that future back to the time rifts, probably for a reason. Because that's what happens when, because mechanomes, what are mechanomes? They're Titan forged, a few steps removed.
Yeah, I mean,
so
King Mechagon's just he's just a tiny gnome.
He's just
he got a bit mad.
Yeah, he's a mini Titan. Yeah. So obviously that would be ultimately, that's what one of the outcomes could be. We're all mechanical and robotic and Titan forged and don't have free will. And I don't know about you, free will's pretty, maybe you don't believe we have it, but I think it's a pretty cool idea at least. If nothing else. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it does bring us to Void Song.
Void Song. Yep.
Which is called Void Song, Stave of the Harbinger. Who knows how the people who run the trading post, in fact, got this, considering she's currently at large. But anyway.
She probably doesn't have her staff with her.
So she left it at home and they picked it up.
Yeah.
Your stave whispers to me. Do you have any idea how ancient the weapon you wield is? There's a time when this whole world was ruled by the Black Empire. It was beautiful. The masters bestowed gifts upon the faithful. That stave was one such instrument. It was given to the Harbinger so that one day she might... What? No, I was going to tell them. The orc goes silent, as if chastised by some unseen presence. He was about to spill the beans, but then the blues stopped him.
Metzen turned around and said, "Don't fucking spoil my expansion decade." More or less, yeah. So I think that's very, very interesting.
Pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? So I suppose the big thing here is who be masters? Because one of the things I think, Xalatath.
Do you want the answer?
Oh, sure. So basically, right, it is Xalatath, fifth old god. Which is a theory that goes as far back to Blizzard saying, is she a fifth old god? Basically in the artifact knowledge lore in Legion. Is it that, or is she something else? Because just the way that, it talks about the masters.
Yeah, we don't know what she is.
The Harbinger. Who is the Harbinger? This is... when he says it was given to the Harbinger, is that him saying, I know who the Harbinger is, you know who the Harbinger is, it was given to her? Or
it literally matches her color scheme. Like, it's her.
Yeah, but it's also saying, the Harbinger, as in, a friggin' title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is the Harbinger. We don't know what that means. We don't know what level of power or status she had, outside of being enough to be given a weapon called Void Song, which is a pretty, as pointed out, it's a pretty cool name.
Pretty cool name.
And it's a very important looking staff. But the thing is that it was literally from... Now, ignore the fact that he's dead and we killed him. But it did come from what might be one of the most powerful entities in World of Warcraft.
Ah, yes. Dementius.
Void Song is a gift of Dementius bestowed at the height of the Black Empire. Those touched by shadow were drawn to his haunting whispers. So Dementius gave Xalatath this staff so that one day she might something. Which I'm assuming is going to be the, she's going to harbinge the end.
Mm.
I don't even know if harbinge is a verb. I know
harbinge.
I know harbinger is a thing, but I don't know harbinge. She's going to bring the end in some capacity. That's obviously the stated goal of Midnight is to bring eternal night to the land via the Sunwell and infusing it with Void or snuffing out, whatever way it works. Who TF was Dementius again? Glad you asked. Dementius is a Void Lord. Dementius is a Void Lord, which is the long spoken of but never really brought to light.
Dementius is a potential humongous lore fumble from the Burning Crusade that thankfully we do have a way around.
Yeah, so Dementius is a Void Lord who invaded Karesh, the ethereal homeworld. If you ever wonder why the ethereals are people in bandages, it's because the arcane countermeasures they deployed to stop Dementius's void energy from tearing their planet apart failed, and the arcane magical feedback turned their bodies into pure energy, and they only keep them in with bandages because that looks really cool. Wait, that big dude from Hellfire? Yes. The void elemental we kill in, I can't remember the dungeon, one of the Auchindoun dungeons. That's the Void Lord. We killed him. But that's fine
However-
because it's only going to be a fraction of them or something. But
Yeah, he was summoned. Basically, that's him summoned into like
Netherstorm, yeah.
the tiniest fraction of his power.
Sorry. Sorry, Doc. I think the war team has dementious. Yeah, so Dementius is the
Yeah, the dementia would probably help them.
Yeah, exactly. So Dementius is the only Void Lord we know by name.
Yeah.
Now we also know that there's a bit of discontent between old gods and the Void Lords. That was very much hinted at as an interview of maybe they were the same goals, which I think is a very good way for that to take.
Do we think that is a relevant interview for our current future going
I think
forward?
it is.
Okay.
I think it is because remember Xal'atath being betrayed and torn to pieces. Why would she be betrayed and torn to pieces?
Yeah.
Maybe because she was the harbinger given a staff by Dementius to do something, and maybe whoever tore her to pieces didn't want her to do what she was harbinging. Didn't want to do that, which means she could be basically the threat above the old gods tier.
So that's the thing. Are the masters the old gods of Azeroth at that time, or are the masters Void Lords?
Well, the masters bestowed gifts upon.
It's called Void Song.
The masters bestowed gifts upon their faithful. The stave is one such instrument, and the stave says a gift of Dementius. So the masters in that case would have been the Void Lords.
So with this, we can basically work out that she is serving them. Maybe if maybe if we're sort of retaining the fifth old god theory back from Legion, is she then the one who? Yeah. So it's like then is she the one who is actually sort of loyal to the plan, whereas the other ones were just kind of going for more personal power and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Is that why she was destroyed? Then we have to wonder, what was she trying to get? What was going on underneath the tomb of Sargeras, which is relevant to me because I plan to write that soon. Because
I don't know if
underneath,
that's super relevant to the
here's the
mix.
thing. So you got the Battle of Catanth, which happens at the tomb.
Yeah, Catanth could have been relevant, yeah.
And then the whole Catanth thing, that's relevant because Catanth was name dropped via an NPC in Dragonflight. So it shows they're still thinking about that lore.
Yeah.
There's then the words, basically long before the Titans, long before like just anything happened, there was something of great power underneath the tomb. And clearly many groups from many, periods of time have been in and around the Tomb of Sargeras area. And that's also where N'Zoth lost a major battle against Y'Sharj.
Mm-hmm. So,
and she in weapon form talking to us has a lot of opinions back then.
it's interesting because it's hard to know what she like if there's anything there now, because obviously the only thing that happened in the Tomb of Sargeras was she goaded the Shadow Priest into killing themselves by trying to absorb Elun's power.
But the thing that
the question is did she know that was going to happen and was playing the fool like she did with Odin, or did she actually try to get a little bit of Elun's power? Well, I don't know if too much can be extrapolated from that at the minute, but yeah.
I think Legion is relevant. BFA and Shadowlands are less relevant.
I would only disagree with that because I'm assuming there is a little bit of we have all this on the table, we have to pick it up fresh, as opposed to fuck those expansions ideas. Largely,
yeah.
I think it's almost a little bit too meta gamey to try and think about where which expansions are relevant outside of Shadowlands. I think Shadowlands as a whole is largely dead now. Not in the future. I think after the War Within, after the Last Titan, they'll have to deal with the first one in some capacity. But I think they can just spend the next 4 to 6 years doing this and maybe working on that in the background to try and get something good out of it.
Yeah.
Or find a way to not have to do it. But I think it's the temptation when you're speculating, especially when you're in you're trying to get every single detail possible, is you have to remember that they're very happy to not have to deal with every detail possible. And that's almost even maybe a big hope, because if you're sitting down and you're like, well, we have to weave everything together perfectly, then you're going to be like, well, you're hamstrung by what you have.
You need to pick the bits that will work, and If there are bits that no longer make as much sense, well, they were told by unreliable sources anyway, and also are temporally no longer relevant because it's literally a different time.
Yeah, and Metzen as one, like, obviously he doesn't want to, retcon stuff or play with that too much, because obviously he had to retcon a lot in TBC and no one's happy about it, and he wasn't happy about it. It's a big mistake. But, like, as an example, the Demencius thing, because you go, well, Demencius was a Void Lord and whatever, it's fine. That happened. We killed him. Why'd we kill him? Xalatath will have one line that says, my staff was given to me by my master. It's a shame what was done to him. And then you go, okay, cool.
I mean, even that's like just the fact that her staff given by Demencius, that actually means a hell of a lot.
Yeah. So like that's enough to kind of tell the future story going forward without having to be too heavy about it. Obviously, like, Elune is still the sort of Damocles hanging over a lot of lore, I think, in terms of trying to see it to its completion. But the fact that they haven't, like, so much as mentioned her in any of this at all, including in the Emerald Dream patch with the Night Elves. The fact that no one sat around and went, what actually is Elune up to? The fact that no one said that is, and there's a thing, inaction and a lack of information are action and information. The fact that they haven't said shit means that they either want us to not think about it or they don't know what they're doing yet. I assume they have an idea, but it's like, I assume next time we'll hear of Elune, it'll be of, hey, we've figured this out and we're going to tell you what you need to know. Almost in that weird sense of, trust the plan. We've got a plan this time. Trust it, please. We'll mention Elune whenever we know what's going on, or whenever we're ready to know what goes on. But so basically, that's what one of the things in why Xalatath is one part of why Xalatath is in the thumbnail for today's video or for today's stream is because all of this stuff is just a little bit of dialogue teasing the future, and it's different, right? Because you look at this, right?
Yeah.
And this is a pretty good contrast. Blah, 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 blah. The goat, the pool, dragon, the icy. What the fuck is any of this? Well, there's nothing here. This is all just shite. This is all just, here's some stuff. We can make it make sense or we can not. Whereas this is Sargeras' motivations. Don't do what he wants you to do. Which feels very different. This is the Titans. They have motivations. And don't trust them. They're bad guys. Not unless they're selfish. Don't trust them. Don't do what they want to do. Be careful of that. And then this is, and the Harbinger was given a thing by a Void Lord to do something. And we can connect this and go, well, that implies that she was an old god or a very powerful force. Maybe she was even the old god's manager, who was like, right, well, boys, would you sort this?
She's their fucking talent rep.
Yes. Yeah. She sat there going, right, boys, would you get this done? Like, it's sat there, it's on the list. You haven't shipped that. Like, come on, sort it out. And then they go, no, we don't want to do that. Fuck you, and tear it to pieces.
Yeah, and like, this is also all setting up Darkheart.
Yeah, it's all leading into here's Xalatath and her origins. Keep that in mind. And they clearly don't expect everyone to see this. Yeah, it's just some tease. And like they'll have put this here knowing we'll see it. They'll have put it here knowing Wohead will post about it. And we'll talk about it. But that's like for us, right? As opposed to for everyone. But Darkheart's story will be for everyone. So this is them just kind of teasing a little bit of, hey, here's some stuff to think about while we show you the story in a couple months' time. Which is why I'm thinking if they're teasing it and it's short term, the difference in how they're communicating between these is interesting. This feels like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about at the beginning. But this is all about stuff that's literally happening right now that we know. And that's a very big difference in how they're teasing. Very big difference.
Yeah, it feels more like directly intentional versus just, hey, we're going to be esoteric for a bit.
Yeah. There's some esotericism, but even when there is, it's in character basically. And even this, like, chastised with some unseen presence. It's a little bit, but it doesn't need to be much more. And I think that's very, very enjoyable and a very good omen for what's to come in terms of how much they've thought through what we'll see in Dark Heart.
So I suppose speaking of that, right, we're going to have three, not major, like three, okay, patch 10.2.5, 10.2.6, which is currently entirely a mystery other than its logo. Well, not logo, other than it just being a little pirate, thing on the roadmap. And then, we've got 10.2.7 Dark Heart, which I suppose is where a lot of that lore then is going to be leading, and I suppose be a full-on, thing that'll just sort of take us in to the future with its time-running pandemonium, which we still don't really know what that is.
Yes.
Harbinger quests, which obviously, talking about Harbinger recently, it's going to be Xalatath stuff.
Yes.
And even how does that make sense? What is a Harbinger quest? What does Xalatath do? How do we do a Harbinger quest?
Well, Harbinger quests could mean quests for the Harbinger, or quest with the Harbinger, or quests about the Harbinger. Could be any of them. So between
Khadgar, remember Khadgar says your old friend has figured some shit out. So if we're going to need to find some, they've actually already planted the breadcrumb for that. Of course, it's the breadcrumb for that in the phase of the final stage of the campaign after you've killed Farak, which a percentage of people have got through to.
Yes. So in terms of actual lore here for leading into the future of story, we've got the Dragon Isles epilogues, which will wrap up everything here. The Reclamation of Ganesh doesn't really matter lore-wise. That's just going to be a character bit with Gen. It's going to be the world state changing, which is great story, but it's not prudent or relevant for larger lore future talk.
The epilogues,
they're obviously going to involve.
Could be some.
No, that's what I'm saying. The epilogues are important.
Oh yeah,
because they're going to wrap things up, but they also everything they need to wrap up includes the story we've seen, such as hello Tyr. What the fuck was Eridicron doing? Any idea, big man? Everyone having chats. I know it'll be 12 minutes of Alex Straza talking slowly,
God.
but
spare me.
Yeah, but we'll find out what the Oath Stones are for, maybe. But mostly it'll be Tyr.
Nah, Matt, that's an absurd wish.
Yeah, I know.
We shouldn't be placing expectations that we know are impossible to fulfill.
Yeah, I know. But to me, it looks like it'll be, to wrap up all the fucking sappy family talk of the Dragonflights and then have it sit down with Tyr and go, right, Tyr, what exactly is the crack?
Yes.
And then that'll obviously we'll have some downtime after that. Whatever 10.2.6 is, that might have lore relevant stuff. I assume it will, because Pirates teasing is obviously going to be connected to the Naga. It's obviously going to be connected to Ashara in that case, because water and stuff. But also
what's already been set
and
up.
Also I don't know if they'll bring the literal Night Skull in, but that stuff was all teasing the War Within content of the island bit over there, so they'll have to do that. And then that brings us to the Harbinger quest, which will be the direct lead into the War Within. Now, it'll be interesting because we will have the alpha here, which means we will probably know far too much about the plot before we get to the Harbinger quests. But that's an us problem and a you problem for watching, not the average player's problem, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, probably will be just because of information spread, but for experience purposes, people will just be like, and Dragon is epilogues, 10.2.6 stuff, and then Harbinger quests. So hopefully we get to see a lot of Ashara or at least a little bit of Ashara and a lot of Xalatath before we get to the end or before we get to the actual new thing, which is the story of the next expansion, which is, I think, kind of all not super exciting, but definitely.
Good.
I'm definitely sitting here going, yeah, hit me with it.
Yeah, we're not we're actually starting the year with plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm not terrified.
Yeah.
And I wasn't terrified starting last year. I just wasn't.
Yeah, last year itself was stronger. It's just that now there's been a year of them delivering, so we actually believe the roadmap will happen. There was somebody, I think, was it Twitter or was it somewhere else? So they were like, another roadmap, dead games company. They've done everything. You're just like, hang on, No, we criticized roadmaps whenever they're unrealistic. They're selling people down the river. They were almost an excuse to not have the launch version of the game be good. But this is a live game and we're getting the schedule that is good. Why are you angry about?
And they haven't they
I
haven't
don't know,
got it
some
wrong
online
yet.
People are insane.
They haven't got it wrong yet.
That's the weird thing. They have like completely. I don't want to say nailed it because not everything's been perfect.
Yeah, they
You know,
have
like bugs and stuff, but the actual. Have they met their schedule? Yeah, it's there. You can't deny it.
They have told us they're doing X, and then they have done X.
Shocking.
Now, the details of X may not always be perfect, but, the fact that it's there is more than I think a lot of people can say, which is obviously a part of them getting production right, and then the next thing is right after is whatever. Is whatever.
Yeah.
So, do you want to continue talking about Xal'atath, or should we move on to 10.25? Just because Xal'atath makes an appearance in a different game.
I mean, you've definitely set it up more for that.
Yeah.
So I think we should do that.
It's time to talk about Xal'atath again, but in a different form because she's in the past.
Yes, this has been something that's been brewing for a little while. Basically, Season of Discovery's got quite a lot of lore, as it turns out.
It does, and obviously it's vanilla. Vanilla had a little lore, but no, new lore. And it's not super massive. It's not like some revelation stuff. It's not like, oh my god, they've retconned the game. It's, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Can we take anything from this? And as I was talking to Jared yesterday, there was a little bit of thing that no one else has seemed to bother picking up on. And maybe this is because people who, like us, who are speculating in lore, don't have the mental energy to play Season of Discovery. But there's something that's so unbelievably relevant that no one has mentioned except Jared to me. It's kind of shocking.
Oh.
And with that little teaser,
yeah, that's quite
let's move into the segment. Shadowy figure. It's a Void Walker, but an elf with a dagger.
Doing their best with their limited assets to get it across.
Yeah.
So context so that everybody understands.
Yeah, full context. This is part of the Void Touch crafting quest line, where you need to be, I think it's tailoring, leatherworking, or blacksmithing at 100. Then you kill which of the bosses in BFD? I forget. One of the bosses anyway drops a breadcrumb that starts this whole thing, and you have to do this complicated quest with like some sort of secret finding element to it as well. So, but anyway, you get through all your stuff, you get through all your things, and you meet this shadowy figure. You're on the quest. You have this thing called the box. So what happens is
the box.
This dead Twilight cultist that you speak to through esoteric magical means says, then she came. She visited me in my dreams, showed me the box. It changed things, made them better, stronger, such wonders. But the box, it was hungry. No idea the cost. No time. You must finish it. Find it, the box. Somehow it won't stay lost. Not forever. Which is reminiscent of a certain dagger. He can't be allowed to find it. I wonder who he is. I think I understand, but if you couldn't destroy it, how can I? The opposite of the void. The opposing force. Light. Hope. Big plosive in that hope. So you go and I'll explain how you destroy the mystery box. But when you do, all that remains of the box is a tiny sliver of perfectly black crystal. It seems to draw in and consume the light. Which is interesting because I've never seen anything talk specifically about void stuff as consuming light, which is all very relevant. And this is our theory about midnight is definitely true now. You've destroyed the box.
It's definitely true.
You should feel relief, but you feel a sense of unease. It's as if you are being watched. So, this is when you go to destroy the box. I'll tell you where you go soon. This shadowy figure is there. And this shadowy figure is Xal'atath for sure. I'll explain my reasoning. Number one, it's an elf with a dagger. It's shadowy. What do you mean? It can't be anything else. It can be, but from the storytelling conceit, it only makes sense being Xal'atath. How that physically makes sense is because Xal'atath at that point in time was in dagger form. And she had been lost. This is, I believe this is decently after the artifact weapon story of the dwarf priest lady.
Oh, yeah.
So this is, Xal'atath spent a long time before the Legion started. A long time, and after her being lost under the sea in after the Legends forever, ages ago. But anyway, she was basically been handed around different wielders, and she was influencing them to do her bidding. we know absolutely nothing of that.
Yeah.
It's literally, here's the story of when she drove a priest mad. We picked her up. This is all blank. They're filling that in very, very, very gently and very carefully. So she, and also the point I wanted to say is, we'll go through her dialogue, but her dialogue's pretty telling of who she is. Don't worry about who I am. Consider instead what I can do for you. You know,
Sounds like her.
I'm quite sure I don't want anything from whatever it is. Don't you? I wouldn't be so sure. The bauble you have there, the black crystal, is something special, something that shouldn't be wasted, sitting at the bottom of your pack along with bloody rags and crumbs of stale bread. I can tell you how to use it, how to harness it. This should be destroyed, not used. Tisk. Even this wee tisk. There you go, being entirely boring again. This is Xal'atath. This is Xal'atath dialogue, 100%. I'm starting to think that maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Fine, do as you will. Cast it into the fires of Blackrock or deep into the maelstrom. Make sure it's thoroughly lost. You see, though, these things don't tend to stay lost forever. My point is that you don't know who's going to find it. I can think of no more stalwart, heroic, or just a noble creature than yourself to bear it and take advantage of its gifts. I can show you. Snap of the fingers, and I can show you how to use it to make something truly special. You'd only say the word. And then, fine, show me, if only to stop your prattling. She puts a memory in your head that's not very nice, but you have it. Excellent, I've left my mark on you. And then stuff about whatever. Farewell, adventure, go destroy evil or whatever it is you lot do. It's got that sass, it's got that little fuck's sake, that stuff. Stop.
Upstart goddess.
Yeah, exactly that kind of dialogue where she knows what she's on about. So, now this is obviously Xal'atath. They've completely covered, completely makes sense. So, this is the part that's actually more important. And it's a direct lead into stuff that we're going to see in the War Within that no one else has picked up on for some reason. The Shard of Pure Light. I've seen people talk about Xal'atath and show pictures, but no one said, here's a big fucking light rock behind her, by the way. That's new. Everyone,
Yeah.
She must just be so beautiful they can't see that behind her. So the point of that is, it's a Shard of Pure Light. It's a rock. Where did it come from? The sky. Here's Ardell Dralta, because basically the point is there's these two, one alliance, one horde people who lead you, who tell you where the Shard of Pure Light is in a roundabout way, as kind of like a storytelling thing. So we had this location's behind the Ravenholt Manor. It is correct, Hard. I am Ardell Dralta of the Argent Dawn. I've just been dispatched from Chilwyn Camp to investigate reports. We've received an enormous light wreath stone that seems to have fallen from the sky somewhere in the mountains of Alterac.
Oh, of that.
I believe I saw the light coming from, etc., etc., etc. Just there we saw it. And the same with Brave Stone Torch, who appears to be a warrior with devotion aura. So an early Sunwalker in the best way they can in the classic engine.
Yep.
According to Reddit, he has dialogue about people believing the shard to be a tear from the Earth Mother herself, which is interesting. Why would the light be a tear from the Earth Mother? And he also says, a brilliant white stone that some say fell from the sky. Where else has a big light rock that's fallen from the sky?
Oh, look.
It's Hallowfall.
And
That's
also
a big light rock.
Ashbringer.
Ashbringer as well, because Ashbringer was in the same region, and it was a little void. It was a little void crystal that consumed light, and the creation of Ashbringer was, at least the stone in Ashbringer, was that, and you can see this in game in the old Hillsbrad, I believe. The little void crystal that was terrible and horrifying, and no one knew what to do with it. The paladins took it and went, we need to destroy this is horrible, and they just went bam 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 and cast all of the light magic they possibly could into it. And this was like or I can't remember who was all there, but all of like the proper paladin order back in the day just zapped this thing with so much light, and then it exploded into this big light crystal and went, well, that's convenient.
And what's left whenever you destroy the box, and
Tiny little void crystal
obviously the whole
that consumes light.
Long lost brethren thing from Xal'atath, talking about the Naru.
Yeah, so this is where we're at. We've got a big fucking rock of light in Season of Discovery that Xal'atath is hanging around near, watching you destroy the box off it, going, here is a little void thing that consumes light, which is just like the Ashbringer crystal, and the Ashbringer crystal, of course, being rumored to be a sliver of an arrow, or some part of an arrow, because that's what the Naru do. They have that void, they have that light cycle. And now we have in Hallowfall in War Within, we have a giant light crystal that turns to void that fell thousands of years ago from the sky and embedded itself into the crust, and then the Arathi went down and started worshipping it because they saw visions to actually go and see it, go and help it, or go do something with it. So there's an awful lot of how do I describe this? Awful lot of stuff we don't know in regards to why, but this is very much light crystals that are void, that absorb void. Or
did Elune make the Prime Naru?
That's irrelevant. Please don't think about that. Fuck off, basically.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't talk about Elune. They'll talk about Elune when they're ready. I don't want to think about her because there's nothing we can go on that doesn't suck ass.
Is this a sore spot?
It is, yes.
There we go.
It is because I don't know how they'll make it good, basically.
Yeah. That's the thing that I wonder about the light. Like, all that we know of the light is Crystal Boys. Is that it?
Yeah, there's clearly going to be something at the top of that
Or is it just
chart.
going to be like, oh, we got a pantheon of, there's 4 to 8 people being things that rule everything, and there's a group of them, a pantheon everywhere. Is it just going to be that? Because that would be boring. How will it be different?
Yeah, Brett and Nimdax. Yeah, that's not the tip of Sargeras' sword. There's literally information like on the website.
Everybody thought it was that because it did look like that, and it was we saw this screenshot like before we kind of got the full lore, but no, that is a light shard. Yeah,
that is a rock of light that fell from the sky thousands of years ago and led the Arathi. And this is the Arathi before the Alliance existed. This is before it split up into the different tribes and kingdoms. This is literally the earliest of humanity. Were led there by visions of it falling from the sky and going to see it. I'm not sure if they were dead ancestors, like you said once, because that does draw a lot of parallels to Oshugan. Because Oshugan, obviously, that was an arrow inside a mountain. Yep. And all of the people went there because they were drawn by visions. So, basically the thing I'm trying to say here, and this is the only thing we can really solidly go on, that isn't just speculating off the edge of it, is this story is about Naru. It's about the light and the void being opposite ends of the spectrum and interacting in a way. Because you use the shard of pure light to break the box, but then the little sliver left absorbs light. So it implies that. Jordan, yeah, the location is on the island, like a new island that will be off to the southwest. Off to the southwest of Kandor. And that's where the Arathi somehow made it there back in the day. So that is just Naru stuff. And yeah, I did see that about Elune and the Warden armor being sun-related and the day-night cycle and all of that stuff. I know obviously the moon is going to have sun-related stuff in the Elune and Anshe. How they connect that to the traditionally human and Draenei Naru-centric light.
Can you imagine if they got Anshe to be the Chuckler?
I would be upset.
No, but could you imagine if they canonically slipped that in before they realized it was all a terrible idea?
Oh, I'm very happy.
That also does remind me, just because I brought up Anshe, Anshul, the Cosmic Wanderer.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I just said that. I don't know what that is.
It could be anything and it could be nothing. But it does obviously make you immediately think.
Is it a harbinger from another world? Is it some sort of void? It's probably not a void lord. That wouldn't make much sense. But it's probably something important.
I mean, the trinket is called Anshul, and the thing is summoned is called Anshul, which is a cosmic body of some sort. So, because you redirect its orbit, which means it is a planet or a celestial body. In the same way, Anshe is the sun. That will be a celestial body. So you could crash the sun on a planet. You could crash a void sun on a planet, and obviously a sun burning out and becoming whatever a sun comes and it burns out. Obviously that's a
supernova.
Yeah,
hole,
all of space stuff.
All the big science that happens.
The big space stuff. So there's an awful lot of that, but it is all boiling around to the same concept of void, space, bad, good, light, Naru crystals. It's all that coalescing around like the things that they're doing here, even with even with like Xal'atath, and being, you know, Void Lord, being given the staff by Dimensius, is okay, right, we're on to a place where we have a bunch of like light to shadow and shadow to light, but voidy as opposed to old goddy, and quite specifically as opposed to old goddy. That's why they've changed what void looks like an awful lot. It's no longer Lovecraftian tentacle.
That's a different
joy.
type of cosmic horror.
Yeah,
and, I suppose what people traditionally think of.
Yeah, it's
with
not
your boy HP.
It's not tentacles roaming around inside places. It's now big stars in space and stuff. So it is.
Tentacles roaming around inside places. So
I know what I said.
That's what's going on there. It's fun. I'm definitely looking forward to Dark Heart.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we'll work out a lot of the Harbinger stuff at that point. Yeah. I suppose it's just, will we get anything from Tyr? You know, learn anything more about like Titans, and the, you know, patch is going to be here soon. Then with Season of Discovery and Xal'atath, is it the sort of thing where you think we'll kind of just leave this? Because like even, you know, Black Fathom Deeps, that was one of our early Old God spots.
That's,
you know, you're getting those whispers. You now have Xal'atath being here.
It's probably all hyper intentional, because that's where you get the void touch thing from there. That's where all of this starts.
Yeah.
There's void stuff in there somewhere.
What about the next stages?
Karazhan Crypts. Medivh's back, boy. Let's go.
Karazhan Crypts. Fucking locus of all these ley lines. Which, I mean, come on. Could be something in Karazhan Crypts. If they do
what's
the you know, Scarlet Monastery and stuff.
The next one's Nomergon. I don't know if there's much in there.
True.
That seems a bit. And then there's, because we've got new raid and we've got endgame activity, so who knows? Who knows? Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends when that new raid and runes comes out.
Here, this will be.
What do you think level 50 would be?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. It could be anything.
I mean, right. If it is the crypts, that actually blows a lot of stuff open, because Karazhan is insane. Fundamentally, as a place, Karazhan is insane. The things that have happened in Karazhan are insane. And also, if it gave you any... Actually, if there would be anything in those crypts to do with Medivh, that could be very relevant to the future as well.
Yeah, now, it won't be relevant to the future in the, if you don't play Season of Discovery, you're missing out on lore. It'll be stuff for us to look at and go, oh, interesting, we'll pick away at little bits here and there like we have with this. And it's all like thematic relevance coming together, or the same idea kind of, because like there's nothing new there, and it's not like what do you call it? Yes, 50 is what do you call it? Scarlet stuff, I think they'll 50 Scarlet stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which is obviously light.
Yeah.
And it could be could draw parallels to the Hallowfall Arathi being the Holy Fire people. And then Kara is probably the new 60, probably. So it doesn't say new rated 60, but it does say in-game activity, so God knows what that means. Maybe they just don't want to confirm it until it's ready or done. But yeah, that's...
Karazhan as a new 60 would be real cool. Okay, cool. So they can use this to do some fun teasers and world building, but that's all I think it ever should be. It's Season of Discovery. And I think what they've done here with this is just really good. It's tasteful. It's not a load of bollocks. It's just nice. I don't know. It's acknowledging, I suppose, the larger world and how it is now, but it's still feeling like something that happens in Classic. Yeah,
it's like the Metzen framed it as found photos. What's happened here is we've found small things that that kind of go, oh well, this stuff's been happening for a while. We just didn't see it before, without actually changing the events at all. Because it's not like any of this didn't happen. It's the fact that you didn't do it when you were playing, but you didn't do every quest.
So, for other things then, right, there is a retrospective, there are, predictions to do. There's also PC Gamer praising Blizzard. I don't know if there's, much
there's a couple
you especially want to do there, other than... a
couple of interview snippets I think are interesting to talk about.
Okay, cool.
So we'll run through this.
I suppose the thing that matters here is just this is more positive coverage in the game, which is not something we've been especially used to.
Yeah, this is basically half the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's indicative in the same way that we bring this up whenever, it's the same reason we bring it up when PC Gamer had that, like, decimating interview, or decimating, like, editorial, back in the Shadowlands days.
Yep, Stephen Messner, I believe.
Yeah. Messner blasted the pieces. Sorry, could you move that water bottle a little bit so I can track lag?
Oh.
Just because I see people complaining about lag, but I don't see any.
There we go.
Yep. Thank you for the heads up. I will fix that momentarily. Why does it keep starting the upload midway through recording? OBS must have changed in a recent thing.
2% of our frames have ran away.
Yes. So I will simply stall and buy time for the NAS's load.
Oh, now we're red. Oh, beautiful.
And stop the synchronization.
Delicious.
I wish I could hum or sing better, and then I could buy time quite nicely instead of having to do this. Okay, well, we should be back to full form. So, what was I saying? I was saying we covered PC Gamer talking about it when it was bad. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying, well, it's only fair then to cover when it's good, but it also is literally true that if it is important that the wider gaming audience has an opinion on Blizzard's work, that becomes like evidenced by this, because editorials aren't like, and pieces like this, obviously this is like a feature, so it's a little bit of this interview stuff, so it's also a little bit fluffy in a sense, but if the wider gaming audience is seeing something, that's likely because that thing is true or close to it, because editorials usually don't get published unless people are going to click them and agree with them. Someone doesn't just say, I have an opinion, I'm going to write it online. At least not for a site like PC Gamer, generally speaking anyway. So this doesn't, it's not the most important, but it does have an era of importance to it. So, big statement to begin with. Dragonflight's roaring success and classic staying power saved the 20-year-old MMO. Would you agree?
Rip PvPers.
But generally, would you agree? It's hard not to.
No, I disagree with the byline.
Okay,
it's not a roaring success.
Yeah, I think that's just a joke on Dragon.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But it's not just that though, because to say a roaring success is implied. No, it's been a quiet success, which is very much the opposite of roaring. As an example, like we have those fairly good numbers for the recent Mythic Plus season of just like continued play. That's good. It's not a roaring success. A roaring success would be us having a end to this expansion that excited people in the way that the end of Legion did. So, yes, dragons roar, but that does not mean that needs to be the byline. Mm-hmm. Fundamentally. So there you go. I've disagreed with PC Gamer. Drama. We're beefing.
Very good.
Very good.
Yes. But then would you agree that Dragonflight and Classic have saved it without the extra adjectives?
Yes.
Sweet. Perfect. So this basically it.
Words have a meaning, goddammit. You can't just be like a dragon roars, therefore we'll say it's a roaring success, because a roaring success is different to a success. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, no, but World of Warcraft soars triumphantly.
That's insane.
Yeah, you do have to take
That's insane, PC Gamer. It's not roaring triumphantly. It's done a very solid job, and we're all very pleased. But again, soars triumphantly would say that like we didn't have, come on, that whole patch ending cinema. I mean, Alex Strauss's existence.
Yes, unfortunately, writers will write. It's their greatest curse and most awful weakness.
No, you're not a worder. You're a writer. That means you've got to use the words good. Anyway.
So, Blizzard's modern MMO's live support. Yeah, that's, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Content arts, unevenly interesting zones.
That's a good way to put it. That's the
nicest thing I've ever heard about Korthia. It was unevenly interesting compared to Seraph Mortis. So, classic first capital light on, sends data. Yep. So.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Like, actually, I think confirmed true.
Yeah. So obviously, Dragonflight crushed it. It's leaving out an awful lot of the bad things.
Okay, so let's just the Dragonflight expansion that was a Hail Mary. No, it wasn't. A long shot down the field that either saved the game or.
they did put dragon writing in, and they did up in
Yeah.
the philosophies. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just a case of it wasn't going to be. It
It's
wasn't.
just as an emotional experience, none of these adjectives ring true.
They do in hindsight if you dramatize a story, and that's what's happening here, unfortunately. But yes, yes.
They do in hindsight if you're not wholly truthful.
Yes, they're writing the they're attempting to begin writing the Netflix movie about Dragonflight here,
Yes.
as
yes.
opposed to telling the actual literal facts.
It's just like, again, like, yeah, like big picture, that's like all true.
Yeah.
It's just, to say Roaring's success says that Dragonflight should be the bar. Dragonflight is the next rung on the ladder that we need to climb.
Dragonflight is the bar hovering just above World of Warcraft's neck, like.
Yeah, because the A-plot quality of this expansion cannot continue into the future. So that's, and I don't just say this from like a story perspective. People are like, I don't care about the story, I'm just playing Mythic Plus. Yeah, but the story kind of does like inform, and there's a bit of a chicken and egg thing here. But it's like, what does the game feel like? What does the new content feel like? What do the zones feel like? The dungeons feel like? So it's, you could say the story is a result of the gameplay mechanics, or the gameplay mechanics exist to serve the narrative of the world. Point basically is it's called World of Warcraft. It's got to have a really damn good setting, and a part of that matters is the A-plot. Actually just being, big, simple, just fucking does the job, people are happy. Yeah. Which this expansion didn't.
Your game is a thing that is made of different things, and if you have really good gameplay and a bad story, then you might not have a good game, depending on how much of that game is story versus gameplay. And in an MMO, an awful lot of it is world and story and engagement and engrossment, and they actually are pretty Blizzard are pretty open about this at the end of this, because there's some interview segments. So this is the fucking that's a big statement. Like, gonna say that's a big statement.
Yeah,
I could see where it comes from, but it's a big fuck statement.
There's I think
there's a subjectivity involved there, but
yeah, no, it's a good patch. It's not one of the best the game has ever had, and certainly if you want to think about some sort of narrative, even compare the horrific visions, big good feature, lots of extra stuff, game to play. Like where's that here? So yeah, no, that's that is falling, I believe, for one's own argument.
Which is very much what's happened like throughout the entirety of this as a feature. Unfortunately, it is like, in that way, it strongly resembled Legion because it revamped almost every existing game. I don't know if it resembled Legion.
Consolidated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no, it actually, I think that is to sort of partially miss the point. Legion was like hyper palatable junk food, and there was always going to be a price to pay for the thinking that went into that.
Exactly.
I mean, Legion's good, by the way. Like,
Legion's great. Legion was great on fantasy.
Legion was, it totally like nailed fantasy. It's just that systems wise, not all parts of Legion would be sustainable going into the future, which is one of those problems when it's got to be a game that will run forever. Okay, new pool of dungeons was interesting and varied. The raids were consistent, comfortable, improved over the course of the year.
I'm gonna hard disagree, but I thought Aberrus was ass.
Yeah, Emirdrasil's better than Vault. And both are better than Aberrus.
Yeah.
Aberrus was, I think, okay plus. Like, there's fights in there that I enjoy. It's just there is a little bit of unevenness in that raid. And I don't understand the unevenness.
I don't know if this is true. I don't know if I think Vault's better than Emirdrasil. I can't quite say that with complete certainty because
Did I say that?
You said Emirdrasil's better than Vault, which is better than.
I think Emirdrasil is better than Vault, but that's with the sort of caveat of within the context of post Aberrus what raids are, because that's different now. How they're being tuned.
I think Vault was just more fun for me. But then that's subjective, and I was playing Feral and having a good time, whereas I'm not having as good time with Pumpkin,
big part
which
of
is a
it.
huge part of that. But at the same time, I
think Razagath
really liked Dethea.
Razagath and Dethea, they were like both tremendous fights.
Yeah, and Tindrill's dragon riding is fine, but the fight otherwise is fucking boring.
Quite, yeah.
So boring.
Varak's really good though.
Frax Prince.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we continue to agree or not agree. Amir Drasil, the best raid since Ulduar.
I'm gonna hit you with a. That's very subjective.
Yeah, that's not.
But nah,
that's not. I wouldn't write it like that unless I literally had opinion brackets as like the first part of my headline.
Yeah, definitely.
You could say many consider it to be, but to sort of have the authorial voice kind of be like the best raid since Ulduar is like really odd. I mean, even compared to Ulduar, there's loads of people who would say that Throne of the Thunder King is a better raid. So that just is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it is good though. Anyway, so yeah, fair. Mythic Plus dungeons. So far, actually, I think those have been a really big win.
There are a huge amount of caveats from like proper like M plus players for sure, based on a lot of balance at the like high end things like that.
Oh, they're playing at the high end.
Yeah, but generally, I think they have been. This would be so much worse an expansion if we were doing the Dragonflight dungeons all fucking every season.
Oh god, yeah,
that's for sure. So it's really hard to disagree with the. I guess basically there's an awful lot of fluff that's saying this is the best when that's a wee bit of exaggeration.
I think the downside is if you're writing a feature article for PC Gamer, there's just things that come with that.
Yeah, you can't really say Mythic Plus dungeons and this patch brought back a collection of previous expansion dungeons.
But like even
they're fine. It's an okay dungeon pool.
to take a look at this, right? So for recent weeks, I just clicked over because it sent it to me again in DMs because Night Stalker's been continuing to tally up the numbers. We're still at like 2.1 million runs week 5, week 6, 1.7 million, obviously lower because holidays. Week 7, which just finished last reset, 2 million runs.
Jesus.
So actually we're seeing really, I think, good, consistent numbers. So it does show, like, New Mythic Plus is actually working.
Very much. Classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big win.
Great. Saying, that's like ridiculous.
Other than a few minor missteps, the cringeworthy Avengers-esque cutscene between Alex Raza and Farak in retail, for example, it's an amazing time to be playing in it. Okay.
Yeah.
The bit to be playing any flavor of WoW, that will all just depend on what a certain player's view of playing is. Yeah. Certainly, if you are like very much driven by the end game pillars, brackets not PvP, good time, very good time. Even just think about the amount or just how much less bollocks you've got to go through than in other parts of the game's past. Indeed. It's just that thing. I think what always gets me is if only we had a level of, the narrative being strong, the sort of cool moments actually being cool and not being, yes, I totally agree, the cringeworthy Avengers-esque cutscene. If only that stuff could match the gameplay being strong.
Exactly. So I'd like to say for a pretty good series, a pretty good number of players, that statement's pretty true.
Yeah.
It's an amazing time to play.
Yeah.
So, a new era of transparency, which is,
I think it was more like every 8, but I mean, it's a lot. Yeah. Pace and level of transparency. Yep. Agreed. In the past, Blizzard wanted to pleasantly surprise.
Surprise? Yes. Pleasantly, never.
And I think that works okay up until a point, but I think especially now people want to know they're subscribing, they're showing a commitment to us. They need to know that they are committed. For the longest time, people just didn't. I mean, because the game was just kind of.
In winter.
Yeah. It was scary for sure. Making commitments is scary, says Ian Hazacosta. So it's been a process the past couple of years of letting our guard down in some ways. Yes. They then talk about the retention. There are more active players now than there were at expansion's launch. Do click through that hyperlink. Do that.
That's interesting. You're right, yeah. The World of Warcraft team work hard. There are more players on this right now than what's wrong with it?
Is that
Dragonflight Classic? That's just writing hardcore and seeing discovery buff. Like,
yeah, no. So the thing that can we just read the specific? I want to see the specific wording there. So
yeah,
with more players joining us than we saw at the launch. So that is basically just communicating that overall their number is higher than it was at the launch of Dragonflight
in November 2020.
Yeah, when we basically were in Wrath Classic.
Yeah.
Well, that makes complete sense.
Yes, so that is good World of Warcraft overall, but it is not necessarily all on the back of Dragonflight.
Yes.
Some of it could be for sure. And that's evidenced
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's going to be discovery.
Obviously. But Dragonflight keeping more players, as again, that comes from, and Activision.
So it comes from those financial statements. It comes from, as an example, us looking through the Mythic Plus data. Retention is like the wrong word because it's not specifically what we're able to measure. Yeah. But we look at raid participation, and it's like, yes, there are decreases, but that's actually extremely natural for an expansion. I would say that the wording there is potentially misleading. Dragonflight has kept more players is true, but there are more But word counts work. Maybe it's just me wanting to like add caveats and comments to everything.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
But I guess so much of my job is just reviewing scripts. For precision. So the humble shift behind the turnaround. Oh,
yeah, this is where we get a little bit more.
Yep, talking about fun detected. Developers saying they're listening. I'll be honest, at the time I thought it was a PR ploy to save a failing game. Fair. I think most people did think that.
We had zero trust in anything they said. And that's the thing. Trust
for good reason.
Yeah, trust had to be earned, and they proved that they didn't deserve it at that time. What they'd done.
We have transformed, Height told me. I've been at Blizzard a dozen years now. We've transformed from being product-centric to being more player-centric. Dragonflight's agency.
Because you haven't made any fucking products.
It's a focus on player energy, respect for time, allowing people to play the game their way, meaning them where they are. It was, it really was just us pivoting in Dragonflight and coming to a shared conclusion with the community. We're heading in a much better direction than hitting the gas.
Yeah, so basically they're like, hello, we have served you food that we have seasoned for a change. Would you do like this more? And everyone goes, fucking obviously. Can we have that, please? He went, you want?
Yeah.
You want good? Damn. I thought all this time we thought you wanted bad.
But there's even been those times where it's like, people would actually want anything because they're just hungry.
Yeah, that too. That's very true. Yeah. Veteran Blizzard storyteller. Sure fucking is. Working the crowd. So obviously we know all that. They dropped the content calendar, which we'll talk about a little bit. Wait, we're really showing all the logos. We're going to tell them all of that. What do you mean, Chris? Hans goes to said with a laugh. Speaking it out loud makes it real. Signals the players with a big ambitious plan, and that clarity is tremendously helpful across the development team. From a creative perspective, knowing with certainty where we're going, which is all things we said. Yeah. We all expected that was kind of the point behind it. Whenever we saw it happen, we're like, obviously they're like, well, okay, here's the fucking go make it. We've planned it. Go make it. Fill in all the holes. We'll get now. You know where what the sculpture we're all building together is supposed to look like, as opposed to when you don't have communication and you're like, well, yeah, I've made this beautiful work of art, and someone went, sorry, I just halfway through making dinner. I thought we were making, I thought we were cooking something. It's completely different sides of the spectrum. I didn't have an allegory. Okay,
our monitor's gone. Yes. It's back. Are we still streaming?
We're still fine.
Yay, we work.
So I was slightly too agitated there. My allegory's terrible, but you know what I mean. They two different visions, two different missions, accomplishing two different goals, or many different goals across the company. That's what was happening, largely speaking. And it's good to see that they thought the exact same thing. But even I think, assuming Ian isn't just sort of saying stuff for like comedic effect in an interview, What do you mean,
no,
Chris?
Tell you what.
What
Tell
do you
what.
mean, Chris?
He's a funny fucker.
He is, yeah. He is.
He's a funny fucker.
He is.
Because he can have that sort of quiet, reserved energy that, he's always had. But then, you've got that thing of, like, not to... I've just assumed that, like, Ian is a little bit more of an introvert because I guess I'm one, and maybe I just see that in people easily. But, like, the transformation of, like, when he was, like, newer on the job of being super public-facing to, like, now, where I feel like it's almost as if he just feels like, actually, no, I think I can land this joke shot. And he sort of keeps on doing it. And they work. Yeah. And even you look at the panels at BlizzCon.
I talked about this after BlizzCon pretty extensively. Like, In was a different fella up at that stage, and it was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, like, as someone who plays the game and gives the money all the time, I was super happy to see a game director be like that on stage, and it did rekindle a bit of my, like, hope and trust in the team to see him literally be able to be, like, a more interesting.
So Stream is pointing this out. Akaria and a few others. I agree with you just about being product centric to player centric. Just saying Overwatch 2, ain't that it? Yeah, Overwatch 2 very much feels product.
Product of morons. Right decisions. Sorry, I just kind of autopilot saying that. I don't mean it. It just slipped out. I don't mean it. Overwatch 2 is actually doing...
Product of intelligent people with no other choice.
Yes. Yes. A product of Blizzard making poor decisions, whereas the game is actually... Apparently, I've seen... I don't know how true it is. I don't really pay attention, but I've seen an awful lot of like people talking about Overwatch 2 being in a decent spot and recovering slowly but surely. Yeah. Having a decent future for it.
It's a fun game. Yeah. Like, that's been the thing. It's a great game. It feels bloody great. The heroes are really fun. Overwatch is great. It's just, they continually gave themselves bad news. And I think there's just, it's like price anchoring. People were used to Overwatch looking and feeling like something, and now it's going to be free to play and everything that entails. Oh, man. Running free-to-play models is just... It seems like an inherently stressful prospect. I just wonder how, for the Warcraft team, it is... Like, yes, they have their additional, purchases that you can do, but fundamentally, they make money by selling subscription. So, does that just free them up to be like, okay, what's our KPI? What are we gonna focus on? And it's like, yeah, game be good, more subs, good, happy. Whereas I remember you were talking about Blue Archive that you're playing.
Yes.
You're playing.
Yes.
And you talked about, you just like, but I know it's big, but revenue is like, revenue was only ranked 17 in Japan.
17th this month in Japan.
But then you said to me, but maybe it just had poor banners.
Yeah, December was reruns, I believe.
Banners being the, sale events that gacha games always have.
Yeah, which limited time characters are available.
Point there being, what's their KPI? Money via... monetizing via banners instead of money via paid subscriptions, and those incentives are going to lead to different things.
Definitely.
So
definitely. That's actually
good for us though, because we're playing a sub game. We haven't quite yet fallen into free to play.
I don't want to derail the conversation too hard, but there's something about I know people always laugh and say like waifu JPEGs when it comes to gacha, and that's like basically true. But as we talked about things being part of a whole, actually, like, the desire to roll a character to see their interactions and stuff like that, and, like, their own, like, personal stories is really fucking high. That is basically I know a lot of people will look at it unfavorably for a variety of reasons, especially when, you see some of the fake code designs and things like that. But there's definitely, like, a case of certain games get it, where you're like, well, why do you want to save for that character? Why do you want to roll for them? Why would you want to wheel for them a little bit? And the answer, I kind of know this now that I've like been through a little bit of Blue Archive stuff. I'm like, no, if there's a character I'll be seriously interested, because the writing of their stories is really fucking good. Like, I was absolutely like the free one that came with like the rerun of the summer event there. The fucking story that was not the event story itself was fine, but like the relationship story with the character was really fucking thoughtful. And I was like, holy shit, this writing's really, really strong. It was literally like, she's a sniper, and I'll not talk about it for long, but effectively like talks about the comparison of the horizons from, you know, noticing that when you're in a, like where they usually are in Kivodos, it's all like mountains or buildings and there's a jagged horizon. But then she muses on how you go to like the seaside and the horizon's a straight line, you can see forever, and a sniper feels a lot more like comfortable there because you can see forever. And I'm like, that was really fun, cool. I really enjoyed that. I just love it. But anyway, let's move back on to World of Warcraft.
No, they have, in a way, an interestingly privileged position to be, or like the platform that they have to do some of that storytelling.
Yeah.
With Blue Archive is interesting because I don't want to just be like, it's Weeaboo Fallen London, but it's just the idea of what do the gamers want? Text. Let's work out how to give the gamers text. There you go.
Yeah, it is exactly that, but it is a case of like, it is, you get people interested as a whole. It's not just about gameplay or about, it's pay to win, so you will to win. It's like, oh no, you have like an actual attachment to this, in the same way that people want to like play the new World of Warcraft patch because they want to see what's actually happening for the story.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for being concise. I know that took effort. Thank you. It was really challenging.
Right. Okay. So if we can just like do some more of this positive enforcement, we'll begin to cultivate the behaviors that we want.
The stream will be half as long. So, you know, keep that in mind.
That was concise. We've ran out of money. We've had to shut the business down.
Keep that in mind.
Oh, man.
Actually, I want to talk about this. What do you mean, Chris? Because we often talk about Metzin's involvement and like, is he the executive creative director, or is he just fucking sitting there doing nothing, taking a paycheck so they can put his name out in BlizzCon? And it seems like if there's any truth to that, it seems like Metzin is kind of driving in the driver's seat properly.
Yeah.
If he's saying like, we've got these 3 expansions, fucking tell them all. Just go and reveal it all. Like,
he is a Blizzard employee. He's working.
Yeah. So it's very much seems like he, at least, I don't want to say it was like, because we're reading a lot into a single line, but it does seem like there's a lot of that kind of energy of fuck it, chill the whole story. And we've talked about how that is such a strong thing for us seeing the future and communicating with it. Like, yeah, that's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah. So, man, yeah, good. Right. Well, what else is? Yeah, no pirates.
Execs at BlizzCon told me that fall is later than they actually plan. Yeah, that's everything's late summer. Everything points late summer.
It's all saying August.
Yeah.
Which again, like, you know, we had obviously been in a position of expecting autumn, right? You know, we hadn't been used to August releases. So even as we sort of stand now at the start of a new year, it's actually closer. You know, it's closer than it sort of... It's closer than we're used to it being, I suppose, at this point in the year. Which is nice. Okay, 10-6 with its skull. Yabara, no pirates. Height has a tease. We have a strong commitment to make sure players have something to do. At least one thing is going to be very experimental, and that's cool. He confirmed it was related to gameplay. Well, yeah, is that 10-6 or is that time running pandemonium?
I assume that's time running pandemonium.
Spelt with an A, as in panda. Not what the capital city of Hell and Paradise Lost, if I remember correctly. With the A.
Yep. Was that A or was that just E in that one?
It can be both.
Yeah, I know. It can
Styled
both
differently, but I think both mean the same.
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
So
anyway, yes.
that'll be cool. Now, the thing that will be, I think, primarily kind of big to me, in the brain, is if time running. Number one, it's called time running pandemonium, which means, you know, we have
slow down
type of content, theme of this instance of that content.
Yeah.
I.e. other time runnings.
Or
that's the one
other,
thing I
or
think
other
of.
pandemoniums.
You madman.
Gotta think outside the box at all times.
Pandas all the way down. If that ends up being the Vampire Survivors mode, again, we saw some of those like strings and data mining that were to do with the Vampire Survivors mode, and looking at what's coming up, this kind of seems like it makes the most sense, especially when you look at some of the gear that was data mined that has some movement related effects, even, adding like a roll ability and that sort of thing. And that's getting properly like, oh, yeah, that is experimental gameplay.
Yeah, keywords and stuff like that, which have the potential to expound. If you've played any deck builders or roguelikes or anything along those lines, you'll know the kind of thing we're talking about, of just, you got the chest that makes you do poison damage. So for the rest of the run, you look out for the bracers that makes poison damage also applies slow. And then you get the feat that makes slow people burn, that kind of chain effect of keywords. So there's a little bit of that going into what you can see is game design experimentation. And game design experimentation in a way we've never actually really seen before. Because we often see you're your character and you have X things you can do. How do you do those X things in all these different categories? As an example, Torghast. Torghast did give you a lot of extra things, but it was still mostly compounding of what you can do. The Horrific Visions was play your character here.
Yeah.
But this seems like it's going to have a decent bit of, a decent bit of experimentation on what you're actually doing, which is fun. Very fun.
Yeah. I think anytime that they can do like a little game within the game, or just basically use like the tools that they have to just make something.
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of game designers and they don't get to game design very often. So the more they can do that, I think the better, I think, with experiments. Most of the experiments so far have worked out pretty well. So then moving on to the classic roadmap, of course, we've got Seed and Discovery stuff, more stuff, that's great. We've got self-find mode for hardcore, all stuff. Cata Classic, I'm sure it'll be fine. So this is basically like, pointed here, all signs point to a truly promising 2024. And that's, I think, true enough. Like 2023 was Stellar, I think, is if you include that hardcore kind of put World of Warcraft back on the map in a huge public way, and you could say Stellar. Discovery. Yeah.
So I think overall, Dragonflight, it bumps it up, but more importantly, shows a good trajectory.
Yeah.
And then Seed and Discovery is like the big, surprising, sort of positive thing. Yeah. So is it Stellar? Are we going to be absolute? Or are we going to be relative? If we're going to be relative, I think that this was a relatively stellar year for World of Warcraft. Absolutely.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. So that's, hey, that's good. I suppose then they talk about things like Rumble. I think the problem with the likes of Rumble is just you talking about the amount of content that they have in Blue Archive. Yeah, you're screwed. Sorry. I've actually played a lot of Rumble.
You've played a lot of Rumble. Jesus Christ. So I've
played a lot of Warcraft Rumble. I'm pretty good at it now, but
the leader of the, what are they called, the clan? That is called a guild.
Called clan, whatever it is.
The leader of the one that he's in is in our Discord and like our guild Discord, and just posts like updates and stuff. You play that game so fucking much.
Wait, what? Hang on, am I being looked upon?
You're being looked upon as fucking hell, Michael. Put your goddamn phone down. Why do you have twice the sigils as everybody else?
In which chat channel?
I can't remember.
Incredible. Well, that's lovely. Lovely to know.
Yeah. Yeah, Luke's been outing you as an addict,
Like it is for an upcoming video. I've basically worked out like fully how their monetization model works. The only thing is I actually the Arclight cores that are used to upgrade, not just the energy, but the cores that are used to upgrade from common to uncommon, from blue to purple, and I suppose eventually from purple to orange. I have in no way found that I'm in any way pressed for those. I've always had them. Yes. So I'm now just thinking in what universe would I have a problem with these cores, and how they monetize me in that universe? So I'm wondering if I kind of understand what the minnow version of this game is, and I don't know if the whale version of the game is going to be there in those cores, because you absolutely can swipe your way to a completed collection. It will literally just be the board gives you X amount of options, and you have 50 or however many minis there are. You get them up to legendary quality. I don't have any legendary quality things. I have like 1 or 2 epics, but that's just like literally in and around 100 gold equals 1 star. 5 stars, 10 stars, 25 stars. I think it's 25 stars again. All of those stars times 50 minis, about 100 gold equals 1 star. Then is it? Yeah, 100 gold is like about $1 in those games usually. So yeah, you can actually math out basically what the game costs pretty easily.
Remember, and this is funny because I think
I want to do a video on it.
The TV show was well ahead of its time. If anyone's, I don't know if it's still going. I don't know if anyone is. I mean, I'd say anyone's old enough. You're all old enough for sure. Maybe you're not young enough. Did you ever watch Dora the Explorer? Because that had advice well ahead of its time.
What?
Swiper, no swiping.
What? Do you watch Dora the Explorer?
Yeah, I watched Dora the Explorer. My sister was around that age. When there was one.
See.
So yeah, swiper, no swiping. Remember that incredible tenet of wisdom from Dora the Explorer, and you'll have your way.
What was she swiping or not swiping?
It was a fox called Swiper who would steal her stuff. And every time he would appear on the screen, her and her monkey boots, and I don't know if the map joined in, we were able to stop him by going, Swiper, no swiping, Swiper, no swiping, Swiper, no swiping. Because they couldn't like shoot him. This is like a children's show, but they're like, don't be stealing, mate. And that was that. So yeah, remember that. Don't swipe your credit cards or steal from toddlers. Why she was out why she was out exploring by herself, I think that's highly irresponsible. But anyway, yeah, swiper, no swiping.
And there we have it.
Yeah. So
I mean, overall, fair. This has definitely been one of World of Warcraft's best years, and it seemingly is one of its best years that could reasonably lead to better years, and I would say better years in a form that is structural. It's like that thing. Do we think about what we should do, or basically systems thinking, which is important.
Yeah, just thinking entirely in allegory and vague ideas. You're sort of.
Well, it's just like Legion is great. Woo, we're all very happy. Hope it's not shit next time. Whereas it's not going to be like that now. I mean, yes, there was we had fun. Hope more than isn't shit. But it seems the chances of it being shit are way lower based on all of the decisions we've seen them make and what the content schedule is like and their actual track record of delivering it. And that's like the thing. Because I think when people don't want to just be edged on, sometimes happy, sometimes not happy for another 5 years. What they want is to know, okay, I could maybe commit to this because the people who are making it seem to have committed to it as well. Mm-hmm. And perhaps we are seeing. Well, I don't know. That just seems like a more credible thing to assume, given they're actually hitting their roadmap and their plans seem to be better. So yeah, good, happy.
Yeah, they have.
There we go.
They have put the wheels back on the wagon and are on the road again. That's most of it, to be honest. That's most of it. Very good.
Yeah. So
we really tore the ass out of that article. Didn't we? We got plenty of content out of that. Thanks, Heather. I mean, I think it was like, especially from the angle of this is what people are saying about it. Obviously, we'd say there's a lot of exaggeration for the sake of being a feature on a site and not being middle of the road and going, Dragonflight's sort of okay, it's sort of improved things. It's a little bit exaggerated a little bit, but at the same time, the general vibes of World of Warcraft or Warcraft, good direction, people happy is largely true. It's just it doesn't quite sell how much work still needs to be done in the smaller ways.
But if they have built the machine that builds the machine, then we can with what we've got, we can expect a process of continuous improvement to I think happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they can fix Mythic Plus, they can fucking fix the story. Like,
yeah.
Put it that way.
Wow. Oathstones. What do they do?
We'll find out in the Dragon.
You guys worked out Because I think the thing that we absolutely tore the arse out of in our last stream of 2023 was the Oath Stones and the Sigils, and that was a fun stream. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope they can get there. I really do. At least
I'm not going to say what I think.
the things that they have to play with are inherently cool. They can never fix Alexstrasza, I think. I think she's just doomed.
I can fix her. No, sorry. I had to. It was right there. I didn't even mean it, okay? I just said it. Also, fuck off, Valorant. Good 2-hour clip there. Fuck off.
Does this count?
That'll at least be 3 clips.
Have we just done the 2023 retrospective?
We sort of have, which is, I think, okay, because if we did the actual retrospective, we'd be here for hours on end. Because I had this kind of...
okay, rapid fire.
I had this vision of... I'm not even joking you. I had this vision of going through all of the roadmaps and talking about the patches bit by bit and then going through the patch notes and talking about all the features. But that would be many, many hours. So maybe we'll do that at another point. So I don't really think I could be bothered to do that right now. Just because there's a lot of granularity I probably don't remember. But even like remember seeing this because I like the reason I wanted to do this was there's plenty of how to describe this? Plenty of things you forget.
Well, this did not sell us up the river, did it? Not at all.
No, because like you think of this, right? And you look at this and you go, well, Primalist tomorrow, who gives the Trading Post? That was a pretty fucking good addition, right? It's been doing a lot of work. Even the fact now there's some parts of this is kind of annoying if they tie dialogue to Trading Post weapons. You can get a little bit of, what are you doing? But I think it's perfectly fine for an idea to do that thing.
That's okay. They did it so that us and Wowhead can still be in business.
Sweet, thank you. And then like
we need tooltips. Please give us more tooltips.
Yeah, and correlator like white and grey transmogs.
Big.
That's fucking huge.
Hang on, did that not also like break recently or something?
So?
I heard someone say something. You know what? Maybe I've been on the crack pipe again.
You spend an awful lot of time on that. You shouldn't watch out. But yeah, like that was something I forgot that happened.
Yes.
Because you just kind of forget things happen and go, oh my God, that was like a pretty big change. Obviously, dragon riding was a change that came in. Dragon trees, talent trees were a thing that came in and obviously changed up the game substantially in a way that I think everyone is mostly happy with. I'd love to find people who one, have thought it through, 2, played the game a lot at a decent level, and 3, would want to go back to the old version. I'd like to find those people because I don't know how many of them exist. I'm sure they're dying breed. You think about like Spring and you go, well, what was in 07? Forbidden Reach, that was a pretty good zone. It nailed the flow of flying around and doing all your stuff. The human and Orc Heritage Armor.
Great.
That Orc Heritage Armor quest. I forgot it existed because you don't think about it. Great.
Hey, Matt, new zone.
Yeah.
10-2, 10-1. New zone.
Yeah.
New raid. New PvP season. Yeah. Profession updates. UI improvements.
Yeah. So like even not everything was stellar here. Obviously a lot of it was just here's your zones and raids. And they're fine. But,
yeah.
But remember what came in Tempo 1? Flight stones and crests.
That's the big thing.
It already feels normal to us. But and it wasn't even on the roadmap here. They just went revolutionize gearing forever.
Yep.
And you go, fuck. That really did change the game.
There's still resistance to it, but the thing is,
when
was there the most resistance? When it was new. But it seems like this is something that, yes, there's cognitive load whenever there's a new thing. But as people slowly get onboarded to it, I suppose it just reaches a stage of stably working, and it sort of feels like we're at that.
Yeah, it's like
with gear. I don't think about any of these things anymore, really. Yeah. They just are there, they're part of the game. That's it.
Yeah, even going to because our raid night was yesterday and you weren't there, but we were going through, and the fact that there's an upgrade vendor in the middle of the fucking raid is so good.
Yeah. Because
you go and kill a boss and get a couple flight stones, get a couple crests, and on your way to the next boss, you get to upgrade either the item that just dropped because it would drop a little bit lower, but you want to upgrade it with obviously if you have a higher item level, you've got the discount, or if it just drops, you get a hero piece and you want to upgrade a little bit, you can just do that. You can just upgrade an item on the way to the fucking next boss, which, like, compared to any other time in World of Warcraft history, if you were to upgrade it, it's like, hey, there's an upgrade system. You'd have to teleport out of the raid and do 7 fucking dances at the top of Stormwind for money, and then get, whatever it is you can
I
upgrade that.
remember,
Like,
yes, the whole process of getting new gear in MoB.
yeah, or doing anything in Shadowlands, anything
Yeah.
ever. Like,
And it was funny
never-
because like they had all the responses to MoP gearing getting a bit out of hand, they thought, and then it turned into Shadowlands,
yeah,
which was almost like, hey, we have designed a game so that you all have raid bot subscriptions.
yeah. So like, there's clearly like still a bunch of issues, but like KW says, only fixed after players complained and everything is in currency tab. Yeah, and it's fixed.
Yep.
And now it's fixed. And now we're going into the war within with an upgrade system that has been implemented, revolutionized the game, and fixed it. And I don't want to I'm going to end up sounding like I'm saying, you should be grateful. You should be, be daily gratefulness for all of your, have a fucking, the gratefulness journal that you write down all the things you're happy for.
Gratitude
Your
journal.
gratitude journal, one of those.
There we go.
Get one of those for World of Warcraft. I'm not coming across like that. But I genuinely am trying to say there's a lot of stuff we kind of already take for granted that Dragonflight did that was kind of huge that we don't really feel that anyway. We don't feel that every day, but it is always there. Same with fucking the professional bits in Dragonflight itself.
Yeah.
I don't really engage in them very much, but the crafting system it has some issues, some usability problems. It's the people are asking 10k for shit they should be asking 5 gold for, and they can fuck off. But like generally good stuff. Same with like even just going through. Not all
5
of this,
gold is a bit low.
Yeah, it's a bit
now.
low, yeah. Like not all of this is great, but generally you're like,
Yeah, I think like it's just that we hit from like sort of season 2 into season 3. That's where, and especially because in 1007 the plot stuff was quite strong.
it was. Yeah.
You then hit just inconsistency. Inconsistency, and I think ultimately the bronze Dragonflight stuff being less than a lot of people thought it would be. Now I know that like the moment it's all centered around is like literally what's starting off the next expansion and probably this whole World Soul Saga thing. So I know that it does matter, but I think people were probably expecting something maybe a little bit more grand, different. I think ultimately a lot of people did expect that to be a raid.
Yeah.
At the time. Because, of course, not everybody, people didn't really know how much there would be in this expansion. Other ones have had 4 raids. This one had 3. It had more things in and around that. But, this, I think, firmly is the structure of WoW going forward. And ultimately, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because here's like, just because this goes into a little bit more depth, because it was out. Like the Scare Vaults was a cool little experiment.
Oh, yeah, great.
The Annulet was an experiment that I think ultimately failed in terms of how people felt about it at the end. I think maybe like I know I didn't like it very much. It was a sort of power catch up that no one wanted and kind of unbalanced and reckless for a long time.
It was like it
Yeah.
looked like it would only be relevant for like 6 weeks, but then it turned out it actually did have power, and then they nerfed it, a certain way into that season.
Yeah, so that was a wee bit scuffed, but like even then there's failed experiments that they discard, because what did they do for power catch up in this patch? Maybe they'll do something in the next patch because it was kind of a between patch, but they put the fucking head enchant in the game.
Also the future warbands,
Yeah,
warbound gear.
yeah, Warband gear for that like catch up gear
Like,
stuff.
for your alts as an example.
Night Stalker, take that back. Don't even suggest the annual being updated in season 4. Shut up.
Oh,
That is full curse of wrath here in the whole player base. Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's Twin Mama still use it to run old content, get a huge speed buff.
Oh, interesting.
How
Wait, speed buff?
how fast can you make that?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Didn't even know it give you speed.
Onyx Annulet speed set. Oh, here's an Icy Veins article about it.
Nice.
Let's see. How much speed can you get? The answer is you get some. And this is a big article that I'll have to look into. Never mind.
Insane.
But that's neat.
Fantastic.
That's actually, no, how about, tell us, how much speed do you get? Oh, Night Stalker's Fury Warrior in a speed set is at 202% move speed baseline.
Go away.
Twin Mammoth, 561% move speed.
That's not 561% move speed. That's 561 speed stat.
Oh, whoops.
That's not 561%.
What am I on about?
Christ. Just dragon riding on foot. Like, yeah, no.
Just sitting there in your, sandboxed server with all the console commands. Fucking tap the W key. No.
Never done that. Who would do that? That's awful.
Oh, no, nobody does that. Yeah.
Nobody.
Never.
Nobody. But, yeah. Was there anything else here specifically? Nothing really very specific. Did I talk about the UI being fixed in Dragonflight? Obviously, that's a 2022 improvement generally, but I don't use LVUI anymore because the UI works.
Yeah?
I don't use an action bar add-on.
Yeah, same.
And my UI is better and I feel happier for it than I will have consistently.
What it is for me is quite simple. LVUI, as much as its functionality and all of that is great,
Soulless Nightmare
is a soulless nightmare, and it does not look like it doesn't look like a fantasy game.
Yeah, and I think the LVI and consequences have been horrible. Should never happen. Like, the amount of I think it's great as a piece of software and as an add-on.
Yeah.
But I think if at some point in the branching timelines, there was a version where it was made to look fantasy-esque as opposed to highly customizable and very not fantasy, very game UI. If they made it actually more, also I always forget that word for when something's supposed to match the game. Something genic, that word.
Diegetic.
Diegetic. I always forget that. If it was made to be a little more diegetic, this game would be way happier for it overall. But yes, yeah. I think all.
Yeah, so basically overall, I mean, pretty good. Yes, by the time May happens, we learn about Fractures in Time and 10.1.7.
Yeah. Still mixed on that, I think, across the board.
We were bullish about the idea of them just going and doing something new.
Yeah, I am frustrated they've not been able to...
there's no more.
Yeah, I'm frustrated they've not been able to make it work on the balance side, which is really annoying because I can fucking see the problem. And obviously, they can see the problem and they can't fix it, which means there's something that I don't understand behind the scenes. But
you'd think the solution to the problem would be that I suppose you just admit that
take some of those scaling factors away, please.
Take some of those away, or either just kind of admit at the very top end either this will or will not be a mandatory thing, and make some decisions based on that, because it doesn't really matter that much. If it's not mandatory at the top end, I suppose, right? It's pulling down peak performance to increase baseline with a theme of supporting your allies.
Yeah.
There's a way you could do that where maybe people wouldn't feel like it's completely necessary at the top end. But yeah, I suppose the thing is, like, you reach this decision where Evoker is an easy to play DPS with a shitload of utility, basically. People are like, it's not a DPS. That basically is, though. It gets there via different means, but it's basically just another DPS. So what do? You'd almost imagine that you either scale it back and just sort of leave it at that, consider it maybe a bit of a failed experiment, or you just add some more supports so that then there is some competition for that gameplay niche. But ultimately, it seems they're just moving forward and not just letting it be there as the only support.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But
it's weird, but if people have liked it, you also don't want to take it away.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think that's the fun thing there.
I think they probably said to themselves, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, people don't like it. Oh no. Obviously, it kind of wrecked the whole season for the high-end players.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, let's not think about that too much. That was obviously a problem. That was obviously a problem in and of itself.
What's it like this season?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anyone cry about it too much, except people still cry about it. So I think it might be substantially less a problem. But also, I will say
I did have significant nerfs.
Yeah, I have been very out of the Mythic Plus scene. I actually barely played well.
There's all that. Time Rifts, I think, were good for what they were, actually.
Yeah, Time is
perfectly happy.
Another thing is the world event stuff.
Yeah.
The world event and the focus on that content in Dragonflight and going on, especially with Azerothian Archives coming soon, which is basically just, hey, there's another world event in the world, go do it. I think same with Furbolg Faction Awards.
Yeah.
That was a one-time thing. But they're like, fuck it, just go grind a rep, whatever you want. Grind a rep, have fun. I think that stuff just kind of works.
Oh,
out.
Brelchar's at 3350 rating. Most of their keys have been done without an AUG.
Ah, okay.
Sounds good, makes sense. Cool.
Nice Sticker says consensus is 3 DPS is better for DPS, but yeah, so I
saw
guess
someone else say that with AUG, slower but safer.
Yeah, which obviously is going to work up until a point.
Mm-hmm.
Or might be necessary at a certain point, but it seems like they've got it into a good enough spot where people are going, there's a pro and there's a con, as opposed to it being, oops, all pros.
Fair play. I suppose another thing, okay, right, so Fury Incarnate then. Dream Surges! Yeah, fine, whatever. People didn't really notice them, but
I think
you can just fly around a zone and get a shitload of gear to basically get a character ready in like an hour. So
it might actually be not perfect, but fit one of its roles as a catch-up system that people like to do really quickly. Night Elf and Forsaken Heritage Armor quests have been talked about a lot by both of us. They sure have.
We probably don't need to do that again.
Night Elf, Forsaken.
There we go. Oh, you're becoming a master of brevity. We're just getting emojis with sound effects now.
I figured I should maybe get some sort of wit installed.
Reforging Tier and more.
Who?
I've liked that storyline. Perfectly happy with it.
I like the Tears Guard stuff, but all of the actual Reforging Tier stuff to me has been kind of...
It's been fine.
It's been kind of recappy a little bit, and I thought the bit where you actually fight this tier fucking sucked. It's just no teeth. I think they must have been kind of rushed to get that done, I think. But
well, that is something that it felt like that as players in and around that time.
Yeah.
But I think as a bit of fantasy, as a scene,
it was good. It was good in that front. Yeah.
I even think about things like, say, the sniff and seeking, where that's like, it's fun, it's inventive, it maybe doesn't get to shine as much as it could have. But at least I like the idea that with Scaravolts and Sniff and Seeking, that perhaps when we think about delves means they've maybe, I don't want to be like, they've built new technology, but ultimately what is technology? Like, whatever like dev tools they've used to help them make that kind of content faster is actually technology. So they've probably built, tech practices, things to make that kind of content more feasible to build, which is great. Delves are actually something I'm really kind of excited for. I know that sounds insane, but I don't know, fuck it. I'm excited for them. I think they could be cool. The idea you could do something that's like actually hard solo is great. I know there's lots of people, Horrific Visions, they just got to do Horrific Visions as a game within a game, and it's crazy you can't do that now. So Horrific Visions, bring him back. Time sprinting Horrific Visions.
Yeah, done. I can't even remember what these returning player improvements were.
That was the the way you hit the button and it basically puts all your stuff.
Oh yeah,
the
gear update. The gear
update.
The gear update. That's right.
Okay, season 3.
I'm sure it will get better if we look at
season 3.
This version of it. Emerald Dream. I have not engaged the zone whatsoever because I've just not been playing the game that much.
It's a zone.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's a zone. I've heard people say it's really good. I've heard people say it's pointless.
It's a nice zone.
No, I like being in it. That's for sure. And I think the story quests were outside of the story sucking at the cutscene and having to truncate the last bit into everyone's here. All of some of the actual stuff talked about Bertha and Nasara was a lot more enjoyable than before.
So
in terms of
this is the weirdness.
In terms of the setups they put us in, like having to use the zone to your advantage, felt quite nice.
It's like campaign. Good, really good ending, and the epilogue. You sort of talk to the characters. They actually, they're not just saying, nice champion, you've beaten us off. Here's a tenner. Go buy yourself a bag of chips. Goodbye. Right, so like that feels better. But as the PC Gamer article pointed out, the turbo fucking cringe Avengers scene with Alex Straza, the Raid End cinematic. There is one good thing though. They didn't destroy a loon. You were kind of worried that could potentially be in the cards. So that's, I think, good. Actually, Red Sparrow, yeah, the seeds and super blooms are nice, but it could have used more rares and events. Yeah, I get that. I think that the seeds and stuff is actually feels like you can get into a fun little flow, but it's maybe just not quite there. I think for me, the super bloom event, it's boring. It's just kind of boring, right? It just it takes a while, and you just end up like, cool, 4 minutes of clicking on the flowers, and then it's that strange thing. It's as if the scoring and everything that was going on with Researchers Under Fire, like that was the problem, but Researchers Under Fire itself actually sort of felt like things were going on, had a bit more of a sort of snappy pace to it.
Oh, pace. I was gonna say, what do you mean? It was just fighting boys, like, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it had a snappier pace. So yeah, they're saving a loon for midnight. Yeah, I think so, and it's definitely the right move. Everything with Bellameth, I think, has been an exercise in threading the needle. I think in a way that is as good as they reasonably can, and I'm satisfied with it.
I very much look forward to having a moment after the next patch and just sitting down and going, let's look at all of that again from the perspective with hindsight. Now that we've seen it all unfold, how do you feel about it? I look forward to going. Please don't fucking talk about the Night Elves again. Thank you.
Okay, Dream Wardens. Yep, grand, whatever. Class sets.
The what? Sorry, I think I'm like around like 4 or 5. I haven't done
what?
It. I haven't done it. I've basically only. I've been raid logging like.
Yeah, I've got way more renown and like. Again, I wish War Within was here, because the character that I actually enjoy playing is my Paladin, and that is not the character that I raid as. So my Paladin has got like way more renown than my actual raiding character. Anyway, class sets, I think those look fantastic. I certainly want to earn them in characters. New PvP season. Wow, very healthy. Venruki gets content for Venruki. Mythic Plus Dungeon Pool. Great. This has been a really positive season of Mythic Plus. We actually have literal data for that, which is awesome. So, and of course the raid itself, I think a tremendous raid.
I very much found it mid plus so far, but I think I'm going to do. So there are 2 reasons for that. Yeah. I'll be clear. The 2 reasons for that are I wasn't there for most of our initial heroic prog.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there for any of our normal prog. So by the time I actually got to play, we walked over normal first. I was like, what the? Okay. And then in heroic, it's been like prog for the past like 4 bosses. And I've been undergeared compared to everyone else. And I've just kind of been like, I don't want to say it's too easy, but it's been too easy for me. I'm kind of sleepy. Which is,
but you also don't enjoy Boomkin.
And the second part is that I don't actually enjoy Boomkin, and I just remember there's a third part as well. The second part is I don't enjoy Boomkin, and that's because I don't enjoy ranged, because I don't know how anyone enjoys ranged. And this was if we have a break glass in case of emergency segment, in case we didn't talk enough about things we had. Which now that I look at the time, I go, well, that was fucking stupid. We didn't need that ever. But I really do not like ranged. I don't know how people like ranged. My thing was I was going to ask people who play ranged why do they like it, because I don't understand. I cannot enjoy it compared to, maybe it's just because I like tapping A and D when I'm hitting my buttons, and I think that might entirely be it. I like the freedom of movement, and I like especially Feral. I like the freedom of Feral. If I miss a GCD, I'm not that punished as long as I've got my like bleeds going. I've got decent range to counter it. I've got movement abilities, and I have the speed and survivability if I do things correctly to handle stuff. Whereas I'm a Boomkin, and I have to go and stop that thing, but I don't have time, or refreshing my dots is a bad idea, and I don't have any AP pulled. I have to move and not get a cast. I'm going to fucking scream and cry, and the difference there is so insane to me.
It's weird because like positioning there are times with range where you just get into a comfortable position and you just know you can blast for ages.
Yeah.
Because you know the fights.
Yeah, and I don't even enjoy that too much. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, gameplay wise, it depends for a lot of people. If if that means they're getting some really big chaos bolts off, then that kind of feels satisfying because they've set up this window. They then used it well. That feels good to them. I don't know if even some of that is just like if Boomkin just feels like you're infinitely spinning a plate and you don't enjoy spinning the plate, and it maybe doesn't have a rhythm that you enjoy.
Yeah, it's mostly that, and also another part of it might just be because I'm not playing extreme well. I'm like, I'm
like happy with ranged as a hunter.
I'm kind of like high. Depends on how the fight goes, but a lot of the times I end up being like high green to like mid blue parse, which isn't very good. Whenever I was like consistently high blue and purple as feral, so I'm literally worse at it. But to me, I'm like, this is just kind of shit. And some of it comes down to the cooldown timing as well. I feel like so much of my power is inside my incline window, and for some reason this entire raid has been completely fucking wrong for 3-minute cooldowns and for my Arcanic Pulsar procs. Every time my Pulsar procs is like, oh, it's time for me to fuck myself, I guess. It's been like that was me like every time.
Can we clip that from the stream? Can we get that in a weak aura? So whenever your cooldowns pop up, that's what plays.
Yeah, so like it doesn't feel bad. They're trying to like I am 470 now, which isn't great, and I've got like tier, and it feels fine and it's okay, but it's just not. It's not feral. I don't know. It's just not feral, and I really like the customization. So I think like my character looks great. I've got one like the more greeny kind of ones with the fiery effect. It looks fun, but I'm just sat there like 3-minute feels like shit. I don't feel like I can excel. I don't feel like I have the movement tools to solve problems. I don't feel like I have the defensive to solve problems. Stampeding Roar is fine, but Stampeding Roar turns me into a fucking bear, which kills the GCD. And like this sucks.
So
big
picture.
I don't know. But I basically just went off on how much I don't like Brimkin for a second there.
A bunch of things I feel have got to line up.
Yeah.
And when those things are lined up, you are then able to enjoy whatever you're doing. I'm sure so many of us have, it's happened in World of Warcraft, flying laps around Dalaran, or, maybe it's happened where you're just looking at your Steam library thinking, so many games, but nothing I want to play. Depress. Where, if things don't line up in a certain way, we don't really enjoy it. That's a mixture. That's a mixture of many different factors, I suppose. And it's something like World of Warcraft for you. Like, you've missed out, I think, on a vital part of the personal connection that one has with a raid when they go in there on the first day and they... like, you remember progressing the bosses. You remember seeing them evolve from normal to heroic. You've kind of had that experience as opposed to just, you turn up, everyone else knows what to do, and you're basically just this, like, spare dickhead who, like, if you die, it won't really impact the raid. You're not going to be GCD, or GCD'd what? You're not going to get the combat res because you don't matter. That's always, like, a really, like, it's not aligned with how the game's sort of incentive systems and stuff are, unless you're, like, somehow just completely, immediately geared to the tits. But then also, like, you're not enjoying the class. I remember my example of this was, oh no, Tarok, sorry. Playing Marksmanship Hunter. And I went from being happy with it to kind of hating it from Legion to BFA. It was just like, for whatever reason, whenever you were just this little vulnerability destruction machine, I was enjoying it. And then whenever it turned into its newer, slower incarnation, I just got so bored. And I was like, oh, true shot, it's going fast. I don't care. And I certainly changed mains and enjoyed the game a hell of a lot more. I think what I'd say is, ranged has... okay, you can get fingered, ranged, or melee in different ways. I guess with melee, it's like visual bloat. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can hardly see your character. It's, maybe the tank movement's not good. It's being tied to that minimum range. But sometimes, of course, bosses are just so fucking humongous that, you're sitting there just... But the thing I think with melee though is because you have so few hard casts or no hard casts, as it is with say Beast Mastery Hunter, you do have this rather uninterrupted flow. And the bit about range that can get so annoying is when you have hard casts and they get interrupted, and then you get that challenging thing where uh, there are. It's like, okay, I'm not posing these as if they're opposites that come at each other's expense. But if you're going to, pull a Sid Meier and be like, a series of interesting decisions, then you can think about, well, your hard-casted aim shot means that you've got to plan your movement. Isn't that interesting? A way for you to display your mastery. Whereas, well, melee, you're just uninterrupted flow. Smash, 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 smash.
Unga bunga feel
Unga bunga.
Unga bunga feel good.
And you play rhythm games.
Unga bunga feel
You're
good.
an Unga bunga. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably a lot of it.
Yeah, I just realized when you're talking something.
Also,
that
you
actually,
don't mind Frost.
Yeah, Frost Mage is fine because I get Ice Lance and run around.
There you go.
But I haven't played it since I'd Glacial Spike or Thermal Void, or no, Glacial Spike or what's the beam? The beam's called. I haven't played those. But
Oh my god.
Coldy Blast. I don't know.
Yep, my brain's broke.
Yeah, but
Don't play
I
that
realized
since,
I realized what it
Seraph
was,
Mortis.
and it's a very small framing difference. Every time I get slightly inconvenienced as a ranged, I'm like, I hate this game and I want to die. Every time I get slightly inconvenienced as a melee, I just go, lol, I can fix this. Which is obviously down to Feral being fast and having wild charge and stuff. Where I feel like I'm reacting to shit that's annoying me, as like basically the baseline as arranged is great and everything that goes down is shit, but as a melee, everything goes wrong. I'm like, I can fix this. I can make this better, and it feels good.
Yeah.
Which is literally the difference. It's like I'm just a Feral player. I should just play Feral. I should just play Feral and Prot Paladin and not play anything else because those are the ones I like the most.
Play things that you enjoy. You'll have more fun in the game.
Yeah, and also I'm not relating this time because I wasn't there at the start, which probably means I'm completely disengaged and just stand there pressing my buttons and going, whatever happens, I don't give a shit as long as I do what I do. And that's not anywhere near as engaging as actually trying to take involvement for the whole. Wow, turns out you can learn an awful lot if you think about it on camera.
Then
Hello.
just a little bit of nihilistic doomer, and there you go.
Yeah, no problem. It's not even that. It's just like a kind of disconnection, I think,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
That's the question. That's like, what causes a player to disconnect? What causes a player to not be in flow, to not think a decision's interesting, to not have faith that that decision will matter. Those are, those are real things designers have got to grapple with. And almost the point is that it is irrational in many cases. And that's like the thing. Is it
irrational or does it appear irrational?
Yeah, it maybe appears irrational.
Yeah.
Is very personal and subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably Raymond of Frost. It's Ray of Frost.
Raymond
Oh
of
my
Frost.
god, how did we forget Ray of Frost? Yeah. Anyway, I imagine though that's the bit where, it's like game design, they're thinking, how will our players engage with this? There's something about like how the rubber hits the road, and I'm wondering if, a few variables were ever so slightly different, if you'd be enjoying Boomkin and not Ray leading Enimir Drasil.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dude.
So, because like,
Yeah, so I
Emir
guess
Drasil is good.
I'm just going to have to be a Feral raid leader then in both meetings.
There you go.
That's it.
Because like Emir Drasil does seem to be really excellent. I very much enjoy things. I'm looking forward to getting back into heroic progression wherever the hell you guys got to on Monday.
We are straight up going to kill for Monday.
Oh,
He's dead. Like, he got hot fixed, and the one thing that was killing us is nerfed.
is fixed or nerfed?
It's nerfed.
What was it?
Well, okay, it wasn't okay. We have some like actual prog to do in terms of moving the seeds at the right time and like making sure that's sorted. If I play Feral, I can do that. It's over. We got him to like 30% on like a two three pulls. We one shot Tindril. And then we were dying a little bit to incoming damage from the dot that goes out, and they changed it to be, instead of 2 going out all the time, it's sometimes 1, sometimes 2, which takes the weight off the healer dispels entirely. And also a lot of damage is taken off off Blaze. So basically we are this is a free kill on Monday. Might not even take the full raid in it. Especially if I do some M+ and get a Feral weapon, I can go Feral and my DPS will be like 40% higher.
Holy shit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Other things, right. Are there really Blood Elf customizations? It's a new game. Amazing. Incredible. Talent updates. I think actually Demon Hunters, people say they are in a really excellent spot.
So Rogues,
they are?
As far as I'm aware, I remember I looked at it and I went, these, maybe not balance-wise, but in terms of like gameplay-wise, I think this is we're getting close to Mists of Pandaria levels, I think.
Dope.
We're getting close to, this is the best state to play classes this game has ever been in. And I've played an awful lot, not at higher levels, but
What an insane thing to say, given the
and,
journey the last while's been.
And that's why I wanted to do this retrospective now. Because it's like, we fucking forget this. We go, but the story shit. And it is. It is. and we go, yeah, but Super Bloom's not that interesting. And then we go, yeah, but where are the things that we don't notice? Where are the fundamental improvements that pay the dividends over time if people go, this game fucking owns now? And I think a lot of it might be there, which is kind of crazy to me, but like, I just got really passionate for a second there.
Yeah.
I really think and it's not even like
they invested in foundations.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of crazy. Like, they've just done all of the work, and we look back and go, "Fuck, that was a pretty damn good year in terms of what happened." Insane. Yeah.
So
insane.
Overall, good. Right, the next year, except Hunter. Yes, Hunter's the next thing that needs something, in my opinion. A full revamp. Throw it all out, build it again. I want to see what it... Just get rid of it all. I want to see what a Hunter can truly be with all of their modern thinkings. But anyway, right, predictions for 2024. Here's the deal. I think the roadmap will probably happen. There we go, stream done. Goodbye, good night.
What they said above, haha, next week.
I suppose the bit then is maybe predicting, will this be good? I mean, 10.2.5, mostly stuff, looks, really good. However, we have not seen the epilogues. We have not seen the reclamation of Gilneas. That's narrative content. Lately, if it's been a plot, it's kind of had a chance of blowing or just being like perfectly... just looking at the 10.2 campaign, most of it's good. It's just whenever it tries to do a big cool thing, it really ends up being lame. So honestly, I think most of that stuff could be grand. Epilogues, I kind of generally like the peoples of the Isles. Basically, I like... the problem with the Dragon Isles ended up being the dragons. But, if you're going around with explorers, people, or, the Tuskars, that's all good. 10.2.6, who the hell knows? I imagine it'll be 10.2.6 and Season 4 bundled together as one thing. I then think Dark Heart, honestly, I'm really quite excited. Like, look at what the narrative framing is. This time running Pandemonium is them fully trying a gameplay experiment, and in fairness, they've been doing loads of those. They've been, I think, broadly quite successful. I want more, so I'm really, I don't know, I'm happy for that. Pre-patch, that I'm actually really, even just that, bringing the warbands and everything in. It's like knowing that warbands are there has almost made 10.2 in some places demotivating, because I'm playing one character, I'm like, oh, I'm on my main, but all my progress is on the character I actually enjoy doing world content. And that won't be a problem in the future, which is great. Okay, War Within Alpha, excited. War Within Beta, excited. War Within probably being August, excited. And as for the expansion itself, I think I've already said I'm pretty damn excited. I know a lot of people are suspicious, but I think Xal'atath's great. Or Nerubians, great. These Arathi humans.
He did it.
Great.
He said Arathi and
all the lore stuff we've been talking about, the big crystals, the Xal'atath spooky box, Xal'atath doing all the stuff with the spooky box sliver being near a big friggin' light crystal. That's all cool. So I'm down with all that. Midnight seems bloody great. And the Last Titan or final last whatever.
The Last Titan is TLT.
TLT. And we're going back to Northrend. We're getting a full fucking Northrend revamp. Come on. It's going to mean more Tuskar. Who knows? Maybe. The Tuskar playable race will be there. Even them saying that Midnight's going to have some, gameplay feature that'll blow our minds. I mean, that's got most It's got most people thinking player housing just because it's like of the
Please don't think player housing. Jesus Christ.
of the list of like MMO features, that's the big one that a lot of people like see as being missing. But maybe when they say blow mind, maybe it is a bit of a mind blow because it's not that. Wow, what amazing insight.
Wow, it could be something that's mind-blowing, or maybe it's not mind-blowing because it is. Oh, God.
And oh, wow.
What if either option? What if binary, and it could be either?
So, predictions.
Yeah.
What happens in Darkheart?
I wasn't thinking predictions as in specific plot predictions. I was thinking more predictions, vibes and ideas, and we could dig into the specifics if you wanted to. The only problem with digging into specifics is I genuinely feel like I am like maybe throwing shit at the wall, hoping something sticks to me.
A little.
At least
bit.
a lot, like in a lot of like fucking Zalta shows up.
Azeroth's already woken up or waking. Like Azeroth's already talking to people. So the question then is like, has Xal'atath done anything? Because we haven't seen Xal'atath or Riddercron do absolutely anything on screen since they disappeared into their funny hole. So we don't know. And I guess that's where Darkheart will straight up, set the whole shebang up. Yeah, so and also Darkheart happens after War Within Alpha and around the same time as War Within Beta. That's actually fairly notable. In terms of the control of the release of information, but also potentially for marketing beats. Blizzard may choose to use the alpha and beta milestones as marketing beats. Who knows if they'll show more for any of this. Ultimately, we know like Illyria gets drawn down there. Yeah. We know Anduin and Thrall end up going down there. So I suppose, is it pre or post Darkheart that the cinematic takes place? Normally you'd think post.
I would assume post. Why would I assume post?
What's that thing where it's ostensibly the expansion cinematic?
It doesn't really
even
matter.
Though the cinematic itself feels like the saga opening cinematic.
Yeah.
I almost wouldn't be surprised if they had another big cinematic for the War Within. But I'm not going to make that as a firm prediction.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't. I think the time of the cinematic doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It could be happening now and doesn't really change anything if you follow.
As Thrall and Jane have said, it is.
So I don't think that particularly matters. So I'm trying to think of what. Yeah, I can't really think of anything specific happening because the world is kind of their oyster and there's no plot event setup.
That's the thing, because it's like,
the
Dragon Isles have awoken. Okay, we'll go there. The Chucklers doing things. Okay, we'll go there. I suppose it'll be Xal'atath, but like as an example then, think about this pre-patch, because the pre-patch obviously happening after Darkheart will some pre-patch events, some invasion, some threat, some something. That's probably going to be, I don't know, Nerubians or something, like be related to Xal'atath and what she's doing. So
let's go to Silithus and kill little boys.
God, it is actually hard. I know what you mean about that feeling of like just throwing shit at the wall.
It's been the thing with all of speculation so far. I can speculate on themes and ideas, but I cannot speculate on a single thing that will happen. Yeah. And I can barely even speculate on things like zones and things like that, outside of a couple that are pretty obvious, like going to Karash at some point. Especially now we know Dimensius is involved in the Void Song, and that's the Harbinger staff. Obviously, there's stuff like that going on, but as for literally like what's going to happen very soon, I have no clue. Because I don't even know what the fuck to speculate on 10.2.6. Because it's just a skull and crossbones on my screen. Yeah. I'm like, what's that? Pirates? I wouldn't be super firm on saying, well, what about 10.2.6 has pirates, and that means a Shar shows up. And I don't even know if I'd be comfortable saying that. I feel like I should be. Yeah. But it feels like I'd definitely be throwing a dart with my eyes closed in a bunch of ways, at least for plot events. Actually, that said, I completely take it back because I have a plot event in my head for the Harbinger Quest. Xal'atath comes and yoinks the dagger from Wrathion.
Ooh.
She gets the dagger. She gets or wants the dagger back, and that's a part of it.
That could be fun.
Because someone in chat mentioned, it was Stephen said, if Zal has an Zoth Yogg, we'll see her probably possibly get a charge. Yeah, she right, I mean. Will she get Cthulhu's essence next? And that's the thing where Cthulhu's essence probably got exploded by Sargeras' sword, and that's why he stabbed there. If the Whispers died when the sword came down, but he got direct mental orders, that maybe did something. What if N'Zoth is in the dagger? Exactly, Necros, because if N'Zoth's in the dagger and Xal'atath's stated goal in the War Within is to get a load of body parts and blood and rebuild herself, that's not stated. The last part is me adding bits on of her rebuilding herself and making herself a new body full of old god blood and etc. Getting her power back that way, because she's got a consciousness. She just needs raw power. She can rebuild herself that way. But then, where was I even at? Yeah, dagger. If there's also in the dagger, she would need the dagger, and she could break him down to make a little power, or do some magic with, because magic stuff, etc. Which would then give us a what do you call it? It would give us an epilogue for Wrathion to Wrathion could sort something out, and then he could leave the dagger with Anduin or something, and then that would make any sense. Something like that, anyway. So I'm going to write that down in predictions. I'm going to say dagger important before. That's how I'm going to frame that. Because that'll be her return, her lead in.
Yeah, because thus far, the dagger just dropped off the face of the earth, and no one in the game has mentioned it. Mm-hmm. Even though we know that this dagger could kill an old god.
Yeah, N'Zoth is in it.
You think Nigel's there?
I think Nigel's there, or not his. Maybe not his consciousness. Maybe some essence of, maybe some essence of his power, or something like that. Yes.
Where do you think his consciousness is?
Dead, I think.
Sorry, don't you mean Zareth Umbra?
I think he got. Yeah, fuck up.
Don't you mean Zareth Umbra?
Yes, I mean Zareth Umbra.
I see.
And that's where Shara is in order to flush his consciousness down the toilet forever.
And rather than be an expansion, that's just going to be not off screen, but maybe a patch at most.
It'll be a one shot, few pages, four coma comic of just Ashara's adventures flushing Nige.
See, here's
Nigel off.
Here's a thought, right? Mm-hmm. And this is not a prediction, but maybe it illustrates something that is kind of relevant. So, the last Titan, Shadowlands. Both very rooted in Northrend. It feels like if Shadowlands had have been done in the same way that they're kind of doing expansions now, that Shadowlands would have basically been an expansion set in Northrend with a patch that then takes us through the Shadowlands to do some big silly thing. Right? Rather that, just the forces of death have invaded the world and, blah, 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 the Lich King stuff has changed and the whole thing there, right? Sylvanas is now there at the crown of the world, but still have it be Azerothian, even though it is going to engage with a Shadowlands. Because you see, if it happened in that context, maybe we wouldn't roll our eyes at Zereth Mortis.
Yeah, maybe.
What if Zereth Mortis was just a patch in otherwise a Titan or a big Northrend expansion, which I suppose I bring up because if you were to end up going to, say, the home world or the home realm of the Void or Karesh or wherever the hell the Titans actually live or came from, that's fine as a patch. It's just whenever you make the Shadowlands, but then you fill it full of weird fantasies from Earth that don't feel like they should be somewhere called the Shadowlands.
Exactly.
That, that being it was, right? So, just the thought, maybe I guess my thought is just TLDR. It seems like if Shadowlands was Azeroth first, our characters first, and wasn't trying to just do a bunch of world building for really no good reason, then, maybe a lot of that lore wouldn't have sunk in the way that it did. Because maybe you don't have to worry about the Chuckler getting the sigils. or any of that bollocks when an expansion like that would be rooted on, oh, Sylvanas and Death have taken Northrend and things could get really bad, along with a full revamp, which is what we're getting in Last Titan. Anyway, so that's some of my thoughts.
I'm glad you shared them.
I know
that's what we're here for.
I know it's not a prediction, but is it maybe it's just me realizing, maybe the future is going to feel a bit different.
Yeah, we're not doing very good at these 2024 predictions, considering you're talking about the fucking Last Titan.
Yeah, whoops. Right, okay. Dagger is important in the War Within. Azoth is in it. I like this one.
Have no idea what the O-Stones were about.
Oh, I am so down for it. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, you can chime in if you want, chat. Obviously, help us out here. This is for us, not just for.
I don't think
all of us,
Tyr will be very involved at the start.
You don't think Tyr will be involved at the start?
Yeah, I think Tyr will kind of,
Tyr will Tyr will disappear. Tyr will. What's the term? What's the term I'm looking for? Well, when
I just think he'll be pondering, as he said.
Tyr will recuse himself from anything useful after 10-5.
I don't know. I just feel like he'll be in the fridge for a little bit. Okay, so Tyr's in the fridge. Right. What other predictions? I'm trying to think of like Dark Heart. Okay, no. What could our 10-6 predictions be? Because that's really hard. Ideally, you think pirates, you think Plunder Isle, and you want to go full pirates.
Yeah. But you can't have a zone in 10-6, like.
Yeah, but that won't make sense. So it can't be that. Yeah. Okay, what could it be? Night Squall. But then Night Squall really does feel like you're invoking something that you've set up to matter quite a lot. As in, where that character has been and the things that character have seen would be a problem if he just marched into the story.
Yeah.
Potentially. Because he's seemingly, like, being across the storming sea.
Knows too much.
Yeah, knows too much. That's what's kind of weird about it. I think it'll be something to do with the Night Squall, though. Maybe lieutenants. You've got characters like Tethys from Legion and the Bloodsail Buccaneers. So, I mean, I don't want to just be like, it's the thing with the skull and crossbones. I therefore predict there'll be pirates. I'm trying to think, like, what could it actually... Yeah. You really think Ashara is so quick?
No, I don't. I don't actually. I really don't. Because I remember that she's not going to be back for ages. She's not back until the Harbinger's done stuff, according to Song Adepts.
Dark Heart. That's just a thing in itself.
No, because I don't want to just make complete. I don't want to Nostradamus and just make so much out there fucking shit on the page that everyone will be like, wow, how'd you get that? Because I was literally about to just type this, like, Naga Allied versus Pirates.
Sure.
But that might be, that's too much, I think. I don't think
I'm just trying to think what Dark Heart means. Because, if the Dark Heart is Azeroth, then there's definitely thoughts. But, like, what is the Dark Heart? All we have is that patch name.
It's either some Azeroth wordplay or it's a Sharge or something. I don't fucking care.
If it's Yashar's though.
Yeah, whatever. But I'm whatevering from the perspective not of I don't care. It's from the perspective of I don't know and I trust them to tell me.
Yeah.
Instead of the I don't give a shit. It's I don't care about thinking about that specifically and what it is.
I'm going to put Pandemonium being our Vampire Survivors.
I'm running Pandemonium.
I am also going to say the Brawlers Guild will return.
Like Brawly Guildy. Backy. I type normal.
What do you think the first patch of the War Within will be?
Fuck. First patch of the War Within.
It's like it was so easy. It was so easy for Dragonflight because Underground was just in the beta.
Yeah.
Why did I say that? I have no idea, and I don't want to answer that.
What is it? If we're going to Hallowfall and we're going to the Nerubians, and it's underground and it's over there, What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? We're assuming a new zone because they always put new zones into the game, unfortunately. I don't think I can answer that. I know Koresh will be a midnight patch zone. I know that. I speak that to the universe and it nods its head back at me. But I don't know what any of this is.
Zalatath survives.
Oh yeah, those Zalatath makes it to midnight.
Yeah.
Zalatath makes
both survives 2024 and makes it to midnight for sure.
Zalatath survives.
Like, if not,
survives until 25.
If not, they're insane.
Yeah.
Because that is...
Avalorn's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, could be.
I think Avalorn could be a patch of The Last Titan.
Could be, yeah, make more sense.
I could see,
yeah, because we're gonna go to Avalorn and get all the shit revealed to us.
I could see it be that and capital O order.
Yeah,
big final, you know, Argus 7-3 style blowout.
That's not a prediction, donuts. That's just the literal O'Reilly truth. The prediction being Earthen become the least played race on the Horde. Obviously, like
Earthen Monk, the least played race class combination in World of Warcraft. I don't even know if that's possible. Could Earthen play?
I assume they could be, yeah. Because everyone can be monk except the boys. Yeah.
Except who?
The boys.
You know them.
The boys.
The secret race in World of Warcraft. The boys.
The track there. The track there. So, what else is happening in 2024? I've got one. I've got one. And I'm trying to move this. I'm trying to move this to a different category because the plot stuff's not fucking going anywhere.
Yep.
PvP is not fixed.
No way. They're going to have to announce serious new features for War Within quick.
Yep.
Because if it's just like gearing is better and there's one battleground,
Yeah.
Now, the solo queue RPGs, so much of that depends on the definition of fixed, but I mean, I basically agree.
I mean, fixed as in Vinruki stops complaining.
Nah.
Never fixed.
Well, I don't know why I say impossible, though. He's completely fucking right.
100%.
No, I agree. PvP not fixed. I'm trying. Right, I almost want to do something spicy about delves. But I don't want to be
Oh no, this isn't this. No.
Delves. I predict delves. No, I predict delves discourse.
That's not even a prediction.
Delves.
That's like saying the sun will come up tomorrow.
Delves. See, I'm trying to like think about what problems they'll have. Because it's basically to the degree of like delves will evolve significantly. Because I have a feeling, right, that they'll mostly be good, but probably need quite a lot of. Just because they're like so wholly new.
So if you want to, I'll let you say delve discourse if you provide a very specific discourse thing that will go wrong, more wrong than anything else.
Porter Gauge and Liquid Max will disagree about the minutiae of delves on Twitter, but not message each other about it. Dumb.
Not message each other's in DM or not message each other's in not interact with each other.
No, not interact. It's just they'll have conflicting opinions there.
I don't think I want to put a person down here.
No, I'm taking the piss.
Yeah, just because I don't like putting people down because things can change in a year. In a prediction.
No, man, right. Shit. Sorry, I'm trying to work out what's going to go on in this possibility space. Because it all seems great to me. I love horrific visions and everything, but then you do immediately think about scenarios in MoP. But that's barely even relevant at this stage at all, is it? They're just so totally different, it seems. I scrap the point.
That's a good one, Doxy.
It's too fun not to have on the list.
Yeah, I like that one.
Raids and dungeons will continue to be good.
That's not a prediction.
I know.
I'm trying to make these interesting.
What I mean is like it's almost that like 4 zones and 8 dungeons.
Yeah.
Where I suppose we do know quite a bit. I'm just trying to think of the points of differentiation, and I think that's why initially you want to like hammer in on the plot stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely with the Earthen in. Yes, the Earthen who are the Oath people. The different factions of Earthen are all quite interesting, and their implications on like generally Titan stuff in the world is interesting. But I don't have a firm prediction on it. That's the problem. I feel like something about classes being in a really Hunter rework. Purely because it seems like it should really be on the to-do list. So I'm going to say...
How's that?
Oh!
How's that?
Are we going to be relative or absolute? Because I'm going to... Okay. Copy that.
Yeah.
And then just say, is relatively better. Both of those statements can be true.
There we go. Hunter is bad, Hunter is better. There we go. Yeah.
Just because it's hunters. Mm-hmm. We've always been messy.
Well, here's another one. There we go.
Yep.
It'll be worse. It'll be somehow worse. Somehow it'll be worse. They'll give us warband storage, and it'll still somehow be worse. God knows how they'll do that, but they'll find a way. They'll make like 5 quality ingredients, and they'll give us a 200 reagent bag, and it'll be big enough. Something along those lines.
That's not 2024 prediction.
Yeah, you have to stick it to like early War Within. I'm thinking like War Within features and like responses to stuff like that.
That's bad. We already know what they are.
Yeah, I mean the specifics of it and how people like react and things like that. And obviously the first patch as well will be... Story. Out of... I also want to be a dick and say 7 stars, because then you can... it's... I think 4 stars is one of the... Contrarian fuckhead, Jesus Christ.
Right. No, here's the problem, though. If you do it out of 10, people will say 7. If you do it out of 5, people can say 3. I almost like whenever, 4 stars is the highest you can give, because it means the difference between 2 and 3 is like, big. But then people add in half stars as soon as they do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I laugh anytime someone says, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's like, yeah you mean a 7 out of 10? Asshole, yeah.
Okay, screw it. We'll stay with 10. The story will be...
Main campaign overall.
Main campaign.
Main story will be...
Now, our brackets, I think, are... I'm going to say... between a 7 and an 8?
That's a big prediction. I've had my hand hovering over the fucking 6 key there.
Okay, but what would you give Dragonflight?
I give Dragonflight a main story wise. Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think I'd give it a 5. Main story.
I'd probably give main story a fucking 4.
I'd probably give it a 5.
If not a 3. Mostly because they had themes and then they didn't do anything with them.
Yeah.
I like whatever. If they just did nothing, I'd be like, fuck it, whatever, like a 5 because you're dumb. I don't care. But it's like you had potential and squandered it, which is harder to do. It's harder to be that bad, I think. Anyway.
It's just how bizarrely it allocated its time. I think
did it all wrong.
And oh my god, I'm just thinking about the post 10-1 era of like. We're doing all these quests with Alex Straza. Meanwhile, ostensibly, Farak is setting the entire place on fire. Nobody, the characters aren't like acknowledging. That was the thing. It all felt so airlocked. Like Alex Straza never felt like a character because while maybe while people are talking about all the Bronze storyline, they should look like they're stressed out. and talk like they're stressed out because the Farak stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that lack of cohesion. Yeah, you've read Straz. So cynical, but true.
I mean it in terms of response.
I'm going to say
in
7
people
to
happy.
8. 7 to 8.
Will be 78 out of 10. There we go. Fantastic. That's a high rating.
Because it's either 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to... Oh, I'm just... Because, right, it's a prediction. So we can't be giving hard numbers. Or, even at worst, be like the
fucking
completely...
Try me, like?
The completely insane PC Gamer rating system out of 100. You're like, what?
I love it. 100.
What does split an 83 from an 84? I mean, 84 is obviously better because it's higher and also even numbers are inherently superior. But then it's like, what does it mean?
The only reason you go for 100 is because you want to say 1 8 out of 10 is better than another 8 out of 10.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, it's based on the arbitrary first number. Because it's like, well, did I like this more than other game I really liked? Not really, but I can't rate it any differently because I can't think that well. So I'll call it an 86 instead of an 87.
Because I can't.
Not to say the stupid is you can't think that. You can't think that.
So you're going for a solid 6?
Solid 6. Solid 6. No. I have to elaborate. Solid 6. But one moment is 10.
God damn it, Matt.
Yeah.
Because that's what brings me to a 7-8.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking it's going to be a solid 6 the whole way through. It might be a load of shite. But then there'll be one bit and everyone will cry their eyes out over it because it'll be really well delivered.
So I suppose...
And Thrall apologize to someone and Anduin will
actually
cry and rap
narrative out of 10 WoW expansions.
What?
If you're giving Dragonflight a 4 and you're expecting a 6, which is, healthy improvement, does mean we'll be at a straight 10 for the last Titan. Very good.
No, last Titan will be worse than Midnight. They'll try something grandiose.
Do you think it'll be an Endwalker? I know that me saying that to you is going to cause many problems.
Yeah, no.
But I know a lot of the FF people prefer Shadowbringers over Endwalker. I mean, also especially to
Shadowbringers is better, but Endwalker is more special.
Fair, understood.
I've threaded this needle in my own head many times.
So I'm going to say that for me, Shadowlands is like a 3 narratively.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where
I keep wanting to say the main story is good.
I struggle justifying where the 3 comes from.
Yeah, it just goes, this is so bad, I wish it didn't exist.
Most of it was forgettable or actively annoying. I'm going to give it a 3. This is probably going to be weird to a lot of people because, generally 7 out of 10 is a brutal score.
Yeah.
So that's the challenging thing.
It's the full phone it in score, It's the full, I have no strong opinion. It exists.
But I guess, right, if you were to normalize these numbers up to the average of an open critic, an open critic certified review or whatever, how they would weight it. So what do you think it is as do you think that your 6 would be below an average on open critic or above? I'm just trying to this is our cantankerous, but also if you give us a scale, we will use the whole scale.
Yeah.
But if we were to then convert that into how modern critics actually use scales, what would our numbers be?
So can I cheat and look at what open critics have for Dragonflight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
You know what's going to be like.
I need.
Not
I
reflecting your
need.
opinions.
I know. Okay, right. I've got to add an addition to this. Open critic score will be 80.
Oh, I would have said 85.
Dragonflight was 84.
I think that here's the thing. I think that it will be better, but it won't be as charitable as a situation.
I fully expect the solid 6, but one moment is a 10 to result in 9s.
Because people remember the 10.
Because
and that's why they give it a 9.
Yep,
Fair.
and that's why my favorite game genre is the 6 out of 10.
So in a way, you've just given this a backhanded 10 out of 10.
I've given this a pretty insane compliment.
You have fucking tap danced your way up and down the entire scale and somehow claimed all of it.
You show me a fucking scale, I'm going to take it.
So I'm going to say Shadowlands. Trying not to be a dick about it, 5.
No, my trying not to be a dick is a 4. Like,
No, I'm trying to I'm trying to think that though a true Oh wait, no. What would you give Witcher Blood Origin? You'd probably give it a 4. Okay, I think it's a right. Shadowlands, I yield. Shadowlands is a 4. Is BFA a 5 or a 6?
that's a 6.
Yeah.
That's a 6.
Legion.
It did enough. Okay-ish.
Legion is a solid 6, but with a few 10 moments that ultimately makes it an 8.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Wrath of...
Nah, Legion was a 7 if you did all the class halls. Because you did all the class halls, you had a fucking great time the whole time.
Yeah,
consistently.
true.
Even, yeah.
So a 7 with a few 10s that brings it up to an 8 or like
Yeah.
an 8.5?
Yeah, it only brings it up to an 8.
An 8.
Funny how it's very strange how it works.
Wad.
Strange how it works.
Narratively.
What narratively was...
Because you're sitting there, the promise meter's at a 9 out of 10.
It was a
the
it was a plane
final
crash.
result meter is like a 3. So.
Yeah, it was a plane crash. It was very high and going very fast until it suddenly wasn't. Like, it was... yeah.
6.
It's hard not to overweight the leveling experience.
Yeah,
So I'd probably give it like a... If I'm saying Legion's a 7, I'd say Wad is probably...
No, it's a 5.
If I'm saying Legion's a 7 in terms of story, I would say Wad's probably 6.5 or 6. It might even be a 7 because the leveling
when you
was
say
really good.
overweight the leveling because that expansion had so little content that leveling is actually a disproportionate amount of that game story.
Yeah, but as an overall experience, if you... It depends. It depends if you're talking about playtime of story or overall story happening.
Overall story.
Because overall story happening is, whenever it's like, put it this way, if you have 4 exams and you only show up for 3 of them, they don't just ignore the 4th one you didn't fucking go to, which was the one in the middle in this case.
Yeah.
They do go, well, that's a fucking 0 dragging it down, mate.
It has a 0 dragging it down for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so that's exactly where I'm thinking. It's like, if you think of it in the way that they just went, here's the whole story that we didn't fucking give you.
I'm going 5.5, 6 on account of that.
I'm giving it a 6, but because giving it a 6 because the leveling was really fucking strong. Frostfire Ridge and Shadowman Valley kicked ass.
I'm going to give Mop an 8.
Kicked ass. Mop, story...
There was, thematic, etc., but also just some really good big moments too. So
Yeah.
I'm giving it an 8.
Yeah, the Garrosh and fucking
Cataclysm?
thing fight. Cataclysm is... I don't even want to rate that. I don't give a fuck. I don't know. What happened?
Here's the thing.
Harrison Jones.
Here's the thing.
The fucker lied about punching Deathwing.
I'm going to give...
Mount Hyjal was here's all the birds and shit.
I am going to give...
I liked it, but...
Cataclysm's rating a 7 out of 10. And Cataclysm itself is unrated.
Yeah, I was going to not.
Wrath, I'm going to give an 8.5. Because I think that vibes and so on and so forth, just music, the smaller quests, I just think it all added up.
Yeah. Cataclysm unrated.
Strongly.
I'm going to say...
I'm kind of saying these, by the way, I'm saying these for the time they came out.
Yeah. For the time they came out, I'd say Wrath's probably 9.
Yeah.
Because some of the shit it did, like Wrathgate, Wrathgate existed, that's a fucking 9. That's a 9. I would probably like overall give it closer to maybe like an 8 because there's a lot of tone stuff that went wrong during the thing that I didn't really enjoy. Like you go fucking Borean Tundra and you go to the gnome place and you're like, some oil covered wolves class. Unreal. What's the fucking point of this? Like, but then you've got Malagos' story and that's very good. You've got all the other stories. No, it's a 9. It's a 9.
Yeah, it's a 9.
TBC, I'm gonna
6,
say a 7.
5.
I'm gonna say a 7
6.
because I really, personally, I really enjoyed all like the,
all
of the actual people existing in the zones really good.
Yeah, no, actually,
Like
you're right.
Like
You're right.
Bladejed's.
Oh, great.
Fucked, like, what's this? A load of Ogron. What's this? Dragons impaled on the spikes.
I think I was overweighting. Yeah, I was overweighting with just Illidan went mad.
Yeah, everything else was really good.
Because everything else was great.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Our 2024 prediction is that we've just went and rated the narratives of the WoW expansions. Cool. Well, that was...
Do that?
Why did we do that?
You just had the fucking idea.
I think so we can say
that
War Within is probably going to be a 7. And I can't believe I went back on everything that I just said about like 7s being the ultimate cop-out. But does the mat score, what does the mat score add up to?
It adds up to an 8.
And what is a Harvestella?
Harvestella on story? Harvestella on story is a... It's a 9 and it's not a 10 because it drags in a bunch of ways, but it's very close to a 9. Or it's very close. It's very close to a 10 because why the fuck am I even asking if anyone's played Harvestella? You haven't. Because 5 people have and I'm one of them. That is the most unbelievably well crafted series of character side quests I've ever played in a fucking video game. And it's the shitty unmarketed marketing. Square Enix. If anyone from Square Enix, especially in the marketing department, is paying any attention, I won't put it that way. That's a bit aggressive. I was gonna just say something horrible. Please reevaluate how you handle marketing games that you internally know are absolutely incredible experiences. Because the fact that Harvestella didn't get a better shot and the fact that Paranormasight got pretty decently like marketed but not as heavy as it could be, fucking sort yourselves out. You have actual brilliance on your hands. Those teams all need fucking raises and they need awards and they need celebrations because those games are incredible. Thank you. I'll be concise again.
Deadly.
Yeah, take all the marketing budget you would have spent. Go back in time. Take all the marketing budget you spent on Forspoken. Give 10% of that to either of those games. And then give me the other 80% because I just saved you millions. Thanks.
I'm going to update to an 8.
Fucking hell.
Because, do you know why?
You're fucking...
I agree with that 10 out of 10 moment.
Yeah.
But I just realized it'll probably involve Xalatath and be quite cool. As far as 10 out of 10 big moments go.
Oh shit, hang on. 2 moments.
Oh, 2 moments. Wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, fair. I can take that.
Go play Paranormasight, thanks.
Well, I think that's our predictions. I think the final thing...
got plenty more to go.
Do we?
Yeah.
Such as?
There will be, and I swear I'm just lifting this from chat. I just can't remember who said it. Well, I'm freestyling on what someone said. There will be a hero talent set that is support, and it will be wind about like Og.
Agree. Hero talents will be wind about. Wine may not be the most okay word, or most. There'll be discourse, but you know what? I'll take hero talents. Why? Because that's funnier.
Controversial.
Okay, yeah, they'll be controversial.
People will have a point, but also overblow it.
Yes.
Well, the Warcraft community, everyone. Hello. Oh dear. What else? Lightsmith comes to mind. It does, Craig. Lightsmith does come to mind. Well spotted. God knows what else they'll do with just. And people take 1.2% less damage when this is in the party. And it's like, well, we have to bring that. Well, we have to bring that. Ah, you're not allowed to choose.
See, I was going to say mounts are still boring. But maybe.
Nah, ground dynamic fucking rolling.
If they do ground dynamic, yeah.
Ground
okay.
dynamic mounts midway through. No, that's fucking stupid.
That's 2025.
That'll be shit. Shit.
I think that's probably most of our predictions, Don.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably a whole pile more if I'd sat down and thought of this before, as opposed to doing it all on the fly. I mean, sorry, we're well prepared. Sorry, I didn't get out of bed at 3 o'clock. It's fine.
Oh, Pog.
I didn't. It's okay.
No, we honestly, right?
There was half one.
I slept in too. No, like we're basically just kind of like mentioning the wounds. Magni says wound.
Wounds.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Someone jokingly calls us champion.
Oh. Yeah.
But our new title is somehow both more cringe and more accepted.
We have no.
This will be the Mets and Magic. It will be someone will take the piss out of calling us champion, but they'll call us something fucking ridiculous, and everyone will be like, "That's dumb, but I like it."
No new title. That's my prediction.
No new title. Okay,
we didn't have a title in Dragonflight.
Exactly.
Yeah, no new title. That's my prediction.
Yeah, no, I'm
Groundwalker.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting a title. I'm expecting a title that'll be like, they'll do it and it'll kind of work.
What could it be? Because God, topping Mawwalker.
Yeah.
Mawwalker happens. Oh man, that's weird. Can you believe that made it through an entire company?
Anthony's got it. I'm gonna upgrade this. That calls us champion. Very good.
Surface Dweller. We will be called that, but I don't think it'll be our title.
No, it'll be a title. It'll just be what the fuckers calls.
Oh man. So I mean, so it's funny, right?
If I can actually get the Digger title, I'd be fucking game.
I've not fully got myself in my plan of like how I'm going to play the game, what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be,
You plan playing the game? I just sit down and open it.
No, just like there's a lot of IRL things changing, and it's kind of meant that like I've purposefully not spent the whole. It's weird. It's like I've spent loads of time over the break simultaneously thinking and not thinking about what we do. It's weird. I've been like thinking, but not in any specific way. Maybe that's just called feeling. I don't know.
I highly recommend not thinking.
Yeah. So I think I'm just like, right. I think we'd have more Thunder to bring. We will have more Thunder to bring next week. Number one, something will probably happen. Number two, we'll actually have concrete things thought out yet. I think we've both been just generally steeping, but the result of that steeping will be better quality ideas, and like that I'm excited for.
I literally sat for 3 hours last night in my sofa. Oh, not my sofa. In an armchair in my room, eating a fancy French cheese board.
God.
About half it with some crackers. Had a pot of like chamomile and rose tea, like a full like 1.5 liter pot, and just read like the entirety of what was available for like 3 or 4 different Yuri manga series. Like, it's fucking peak.
Nice.
Very, very good.
Watched June with parents. Nice. Ate Guinness cake. That, man, streaming is the worst.
I fucking hate streaming.
Watching June on a Blu-ray, number one, Blu-ray interface on the PS5 is the worst thing in the universe. I don't know what they're doing. Also, Blu-ray interfaces, worst in the universe. Why are they so bad?
I haven't seen any of them. I don't own I own one Blu-ray. I own one Blu-ray movie, and you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's Casino Royale. Do you know why I own Casino Royale on Blu-ray? Because they gave it away for free to PS3 owners who signed up for PlayStation Network in the first couple of months or something like that. The only reason I have a Casino Royale was because I was stupid enough to be a PS3 early adopter.
Amazing. Definitely the like, man. Yeah, the Dune 4K Blu-ray. Streaming services suck.
They do, yeah.
The bit I've just kind of realized like the bit rates that they deliver to you are just getting so low. Yeah,
it's dire. Like,
and that Dune
like,
Blu-ray looked so goddamn good.
I still remember when I'm not gonna say this. It's fine. I'm not gonna say it. Anyway.
Well, I wonder what that thought was.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I realize they definitely shouldn't. But something I wanted to say. Oh yes, it was donuts. It was safe for work. Yes. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, we'll be properly starting up, by the way, as of the 8th. Now that just means us starting production. I mean, maybe I'll get a video recorded.
Yeah.
The soonest there could possibly be a WoW video is Wednesday, but I will sandbag that to Thursday. I'm really happy, by the way, the last Titan video that we did went down well. And actually, while the initial numbers are low on both the Elune and Anduin ones, their like sustained performance is actually good. And to me, that is so goddamn heartening. I love the Anduin video. I'm very happy that it has kind of crawled its way like back up the rankings of the channel, which is good. But more importantly for me, it's good because it shows there's an appetite. Right? It's like
hungry boys. Yeah,
if there's an appetite for that, then that shows like good things about general interest in the game. So that was like really heartening. Yeah. So look, content wise, I want to write that video about the Tomb of Sargeras. I know, given what we've even talked about, there's a video in Xalatath. We were going to do a big Xalatath video like what we've done with Anduin, like a full. Not just like, hey everyone, here's our theories. There'll be, I suppose, maybe we need to split them between like speculation videos and storytelling videos. There's a Xalatath speculation video to happen immediately, and then maybe in a few weeks a Xalatath like full story video. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of excited for things. It's nice. And de-stressing, just like knowing that WoW is in fairly good hands actually, and that there is a believable plan that they've already proven they can stick with.
I'm afraid I might have to do something here. Based on, I'm very sorry to everyone who called it out. I thought you were talking about old stuff. I didn't realize there's something new. I might have to do this, Michael. Because and this was actually just before stream started, Mr. GM threw up on Twitter some interesting data mining possibly relating to the time-running Pandemonium event in patch 10.2.7. Could this potentially be some sort of replay of the storylines in Mists of Pandaria? Because there's quest lines added to the database to one of the DB2s. 10.2.5 Pandaria Time Walking Season, Mainline 1 Alliance Jade Forest. And there's one for all of them, including 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, and 5.4.
Oh, I saw something about that in December.
Did you? And then there's
I don't think anyone talked about
there's
it.
a Pandaria Event Shard Active Instant aura, which is cast conditional content tuning aura. So we might be getting them. They might use time running as a differentiation between time walking to instead go, you can do the storyline again, but maybe tune it so it actually is playable instead of you one-shotting everything. If they do that as a thing, and cool. if they do that, if they get that to work, and that is a thing that they actually apply to everything like they do with time walking, that will be one of the biggest things they've ever done to the game, and fucking save it. If it's framed in a way that you go, okay, go play through the Pandaria storyline, here's the buttons you click to go and do that, in the same way that you just like have a fucking list of content to do.
And I think if rewards just like the sort of overall picture there kind of like makes sense for players to do.
Yeah.
Could definitely yeah,
because that would be perfect. That would be beautiful. But I'll put that back in because I'm not about to unarchive content. We get to look at that and go, oh yeah, remember the time Michael was proven wrong immediately. Not that you've been proven wrong, of course.
Okay, I think there'll be something to that, some gameplay experiment.
Maybe they additionally content shoot it and then give you something else, some different way to do it. That'd be good. That'll be cool. But yes, I think that just about wraps up the stream. Unless you have anything else to say.
No, I'm just gonna.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, just kind of get ready to jump into things over the weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Battery's decently recharged.
Yeah, the fucking gearing experience in World of Warcraft is so good that all I need to do to get ready for Ferald's get a new weapon.
That's crazy.
Like obviously there's inefficiencies and stuff, and like I'll have bad stat weights, but generally speaking, I'll be able to just because there's so much gear that drops, and people already have decent bits that I have decent trinkets, and my friendship badge is good, so I can just fucking rock it. So I think that'll be my weekend. It'll be trying to stop reading Blue Archive, and then actually go ahead and play some World of Warcraft.
How about you just finish Blue Archive, Matt? Is that possible?
I've done the first volume of story. I have. Let me count because I'm not in any rush to go anywhere, and it's the end of stream, so whatever. Let me just open up a little bit. Go away. Notification. Oh fuck! The date has changed. Return to title screen. Oh yeah, reset 7 o'clock. Nice. Maybe I'll get my 5-star swimsuit me soon. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Depends how lucky I get in the dice race. I actually am.
Well, someone here has just posted on some Reddit thread that appeared in Google. Blue Archive has freed up more time in my daily life. Has anyone else experienced that?
Interesting. It's
compared to other right. This is someone who's replaced their old gacha game with a new gacha game.
Oh yeah, no. If I'm not doing story, I can finish my dailies in like 10 minutes, if not 5, because I just tap done. Because I know what I'm doing. There we go. Oh, holy fuck! I finished the start dash login bonus, and now I have an extra 10 recruitment ticket. Let's
10
go.
10 recruitment tickets.
Yeah, that means that means I now have enough for.
How long does it?
I have enough for 22.
How long does it take to just like play?
What?
All of Blue Archive that exists.
Technically, probably, including getting the resources to get all of the actual students to, and then rank them up to get their relationship events, probably fucking billions of hours. Not billions.
There you go. Billions is the answer.
But let me put it this way, right? So I think each chapter of a volume is about an hour and a half, maybe 2 at the very, very most if you're slow. So there's 4 volumes in the final episode in the main story. There's 1 mini story with the Red Winter tutor log. There's a group story for every group of students, of which there are, I don't know how long these are, but that's 6, 12, 18, 21. I don't know how long they are. They're probably decently long, actually, because there's a decent bunch of episodes. And then there's all of the event stories as well, including all the events that have happened that I can just play. So probably a good like 20, 30,
40, 50.
Probably 30, 40 hours of like reading. Close to it.
That's
in a bunch of ways.
How many books is that?
I have no idea.
There's some people
a lot of words.
Wow, yeah.
That's a lot of words.
Okay.
Yeah. And my current favorite is Miyu because the swimsuit Miyu event was really fucking good. Really fucking good. Very nice. But I also like Ui. I haven't rolled her yet. Sad.
Well, there we go.
Sad. It's all good.
Yes. Warcraft Rumble has not given me the Uther swimsuit event yet. I'm still waiting.
They'll get it at some point. They'll get it at some point.
I suppose that's how those games
They'll get it at some point.
work. Is it depressing? Is it not? Who knows? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're set up actually for a pretty damn good year. I don't want to talk too much about stuff. There's just like loads of change. But internal change to like make quality of life better for everybody, like that kind of change.
Yeah.
But it's like, improve a small bit every day across many days equals big improvement. So
compound interest on other things that aren't money.
Whoa.
Wow.
Some compounding happiness. And I suppose just
happiness is overrated.
kind of like get us to ain't that a big discussion? Yes, short-term happiness overrated over long-term satisfaction, probably. But you still do need to throw a few 10 out of 10 moments into your 6 out of 10 life.
Yeah, that's the
as
point.
we've just talked
That's
about.
the point. You need like an 8 out of 10 life with 10 out of 10 moments. That's it. Like, you can't have a 10 out of 10 life because you just do 110 and something. How's Tevi been going, Matt? Aaron, Tevi is fucking great. I finished it. I haven't 100%ed it, but that is it. From playing Rabbi Ruby, I knew they had chops to design, knew they had chops to like write as well. Because Rabbi Ruby has some really strong moments, but Tevi's actually a really well written game. Very, very good. And not like for a 30-hour Metroidvania is pretty cheap at like 15 quid. Very, very good. Very good. The voice acting, every fucking line is voice acted by big name Japanese voice actors, and it's really fucking good. It is way, way punching above its weight. And
shit, nice.
Like all of the character work is astonishingly good. For being a game that's not, it's comfortable enough to be full of tropes, it handles them really, really well, and is like surprisingly deep characters in amongst the tropes. It's very good. Very good. So I think it was I can't remember, I want to say it was Kaji. Someone in chat actually reminded me to play it. Whenever like before Christmas, and then I thought, oh yeah, fuck, that's right, and then I just bought it that day, and I was like, played it for like 2 weeks. It's great.
Got a bit into Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 is really good.
I really want to finish Alan Wake 1.
It's weird. Which is good.
Remedy games are weird. But
it's like real weird. It's in a way that I enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, I'm having fun.
Control had a lot of weirdness that I didn't expect. I thought it'd be reasonably straight laced or mysterious.
I don't know.
And then it just had mad shit happen. I'm like, fucking right, this is my jam.
I just couldn't jam with its gameplay.
Control? Yeah. I'm okay with that kind of, I'm just going to turn my brain off and do some third-person shooting-y, putting-y stuff. It definitely wasn't super engaging. I enjoyed the vibes and atmosphere a lot more. So I did. That's kind of carried it for me. Same with like I'm playing Alan Wake and the gameplay fucking sucks ass. Like, but it's terrible. It's fucking point your flashlight at some cunt and then shoot them after a bit. What? Thematically, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
And it works perfectly.
Yeah.
But it's just not very boring. Was it you, Aaron? Well, thank you very much, Aaron. That was excellent. Excellent recommendation. Or excellent shirt. Excellent shirt. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to finish Alan Wake and then probably skip American Nightmare because time, and then play 2 because 2 looks fucking great. And I'm all like the shit I've seen people I respect say about it. I'm like, I'm completely down for it.
Yeah.
Completely down for it.
It is. It is creatively fascinating. It is cool that they're just doing that.
Remedy, after Control and playing some of Alan Wake, I'm like, Remedy are they immediately shot way up there on my list of like actual like devs I really like.
Yeah, they're great.
Really fun, good, really good.
Yeah, they're great in that they how would you say it? They make games that exist within molds, but you can then see them like break free from their mold and get weird with it. And that's because like in just about any other hands, like Control would have just been like the most boring 7 out of 10 you could have imagined.
Exactly.
But then Remedy made it a Remedy game, and I suppose doing what they do narratively, tone, etc. They do well.
I mean, they're strong.
So that's basically what's going on. Right. I think it is.
1 second. Tyrex, you're right. Touhou Lunar Nights is a good Metroidvania. Please, if you like Metroidvanias or Touhou, go play Touhou Lunar Nights. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It's like 2 hours long and extremely replayable and peak Metroidvania gameplay. Exceptional.
Is that on Game Pass?
I think it is on Game Pass, actually, yes.
That's how I played it.
It is exceptionally good. The
Yeah.
music is fucking immense. Obviously, the music's amazing. It looks beautiful. Team Ladybug are another one of the best devs. I haven't finished watching Record of Lodoss War. As soon as I do, I'm playing the Deal It in Wonder Labyrinth game because that's insane. I found a bad Metroidvania. Johanna the Parhelion, Blazing the Deep Blue, fucking sucks. And I hate indie crates with all my heart. That game is fucking terrible. You know whenever you have a vision for a game and you design it and then you get all the numbers wrong?
Oh.
Did you ever design a resource loop and then make your resource loop not matter? Yeah, so...
Did they realize it sucked and then basically just had to like balance their way out of the problem?
Yeah, so imagine... Did you ever play a Castlevania game, like an original Castlevania game?
Not with any degree of depth.
Okay, but you'd understand the concept of like you would have you would have your hearts to throw your items, and that would like be the design part of, well, you want the axe for these couple enemies, and then sometimes you can kind of get through it with skill, but generally you make it easier by using resources. Yeah. Imagine that, but you had so many resources it didn't matter, and you could replenish them anytime you wanted by opening the map and teleporting to a save point, and then walking back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that seems broken.
Yeah. So you can literally not have to fight any boss. If you there's one specific item that you can get that's pretty easy, and I didn't look this up, I just found it randomly. There's an item that you can just throw. You can hover in the air and throw daggers as long as you have your resource darkness points. You can replenish your darkness points with cheap potions without interrupting this. You can buy defense and offense boosting items for bosses. You can pop both of them and then just stand there and press your dagger key until you run out of darkness, and then replenish it to full with a potion. And all this stuff is reasonably cheap, and you can just not engage with the game. You can just not engage with the game because they didn't balance the resources at all.
Has there been a post-mortem for it?
No, the game's clearly just not finished. Clearly rushed and not finished, and also indie crates fucking suck. I don't know how. Like, I know some people like the Gunvolt games, and I don't know how the fuck they managed.
Indie crates.
Yeah, indie crates, INTI crates. I don't know how. It's annoying because I'm enjoying it okay, because I can just play it and just have the Love Live Girls talk, and I'm like, this is fine. There's a little bit of story.
Oh, they've made a lot of games.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, and I can't possibly understand how anyone was happy with the price of that game being like 27 quid when it's like an 8-hour long shitty Metroidvania.
So do they just make trillions of video games, and that's just their thing?
Fucking garbage, like.
Wow.
I know people like the more recent Gunvolt stories, I think, but I have never played a game more frustrating.
Wait, they developed Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah. I don't know why I bought their game.
I thought Mighty Number 9. Okay, for some reason I thought Mighty Number 9 was like made by a studio of people formed together to make Mighty Number 9. You're telling me that Mighty Number 9 was made by tenured company that's made loads of Mega Man games.
Yeah. Yeah, Red Sparrow points out that the Mega Man Zero games seem to be fine whenever they're doing mercenary work for Capcom, but it seems like once they're on their own devices, they fucking suck.
Fascinating.
Yeah, they really, really
are. Oh, Mega Man Zero. I remember playing one or two of those.
I never played the Zero game. I never played the X games.
I remember playing Zero, and I did not understand really any of what was going on because the other Mega Mans that I was used to was Battle Network. So in my head, I'm like, what is... What? Okay, I guess. And I thought it was hard.
Yeah. Yeah, the Zero games are weird. The games are weird. What else did I play that was
Juicer.
good?
There he is.
KG Inafune. He should be in prison. I'm not sure why. He just should be.
Video games.
I'm not sure why. I also played an indie game called The Void Rains Upon Her Heart, which is Terror, actually, you might be interested if you're a Toho fan. It's a roguelike shmup. It's very, it's not top down, it's side to side, but it's very Toho inspired in terms of the spell cards. It's not spell cards, but it's a load of bosses that have Danmaku that feels pretty spell cardish in nature. And it's a roguelike with so much content. I played 8 hours already, and it's not even scratched the surface. It's extremely, extremely good. Tone's a bit weird. Tone's a bit funny. It's all very sappy about love and heart and stuff, but it's really good. If it's still on sale, I'd recommend giving it a try. Because even you'll know what it's like within the first hour and a half to play, and then you can pick it up. It's also really hard. It's great.
How do they make so many games? Sorry, I'm just looking through.
Indie crates, yeah, because they're all the same. They're all shit. They don't finish anything.
Incredible. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole. Okay, right. Things. We're back properly on Monday. Production resumes. News channel content back from Tuesday. Warcraft content probably back from Thursday. After that, we will be rocking and rolling. There is some housekeeping and things to do. Got to work out how to get
Some house burning down.
well,
Blast
hopefully
Master,
the vinyl people will because it's been in production. We keep on being like, oh, when? And they're like, it's in production. We're like, it's in production. Give us this number for the EU, because turns we've got to receive a pallet of things into the United Kingdom, and that's meant that we've had to get some new number from the government because I don't know, customs and
government numbers side.
Basically, it's all post-Brexit chaos. Yes, I'm frustrated at timelines over vinyls, but that should. The test pressings, by the way, are here and sound like, we're very thumbs up. Like, we're very happy with like the actual product. It's just lead times. So yes, there is some of that. There are some chungus to fix. We've got to get the new URL.
Yeah,
got to get the URL going for Ghost.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I suppose we will be, I guess, a little bit more similar to Blizzard in just continuous improvements and shipping of things.
Process of continual growth.
Once there are formulated plans, they will be shared. First over with members to sort of test the waters, get some feelers, and then a bit more widely. As for the future, though, I should really, maybe we'll go to Tesco. I should move my car because right now my car has literally all my things in it, and it's rather precariously parked. And you know that's been a very safe area for cars historically to be in. Yes. Once including my own car.
Indeed. Oh yeah, Arkev. It's we forgot one prediction in our 2024 predictions. It's Irish reunification year, according to Star Trek.
Yes, it is. There's only one way this can be fixed.
Fixed?
Only one way that it will be true. Boris has come back to immediately win the election and probably do something so buffoonish that
we all just go, fuck, I'm out of here.
No, because the whole joke though has been that like like even Bojo and even like some like Thatcher and stuff have actually furthered the cause of Irish reunification far more than like any Labour leader ever has.
Yeah, obviously every time.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Will Lieutenant Commander Data be right? Probably not. Probably not. He's probably right on the spirit of things, but bureaucracy.
Indeed.
Bureaucracy is in fact something that not even Data's great intellect can accurately simulate.
Nope.
God, Data wouldn't know what to do with Sir Humphrey. Sir Humphrey would. And by the way, watch Yes, Minister.
Oh, I haven't watched it in a while. I might give it a rewatch.
It is in fact the likes of Sir Humphrey ensuring that absolutely nothing ever gets done. That's probably the one pillar holding fucking society up at this stage.
Definitely.
Anyway, enough doomer shit. It's actually a good comedy. I'd recommend it. But anyway,
it's brilliant, fantastic. I love the pieces.
Have a great night. I suppose we have a patch in 2 weeks, and it is a patch that actually will pretty much mean, hey, tangible new lore and things and goodies that are going on. And with that patch leaving the PTR, if 2023 is anything to go by, 10.2.6 will immediately be on the PTR, and they will be forced to spill the beans.
And we'll see what the pirates are about, unless they don't put it in PTR and don't test it and go insane.
Unless they're truly mad, which would be kind of cool. Right, anyway.
Yes.
To Tesco's. Have a great night, and
we will see you next week.
Yes, we will. Yeah. We'll also try to, not miss as many episodes as we have the last, 3 months.
I mean, to be fair, most of it has been for good reason. I was away, and it was also Christmas. And you were away,
I'm not counting Christmas in that.
Yeah, I mean, we only missed them because we had things to do.
Yeah, I think I need to set up to do them solo, or we each independently need to set up to do it solo, so that the show must go on.
Maybe
which comes from somewhere.
We'll put that in our 2024 resolutions. Which I was actually going to do a segment, but thankfully we didn't. We'd be here all night.
And also, if we made them resolutions, none of them would happen.
Exactly. That's why my resolution this year is to suffer more. That'll happen anyway.
Oh no! No, don't do that. Oh wait, no, I've just understood. Yes, my resolution is also to suffer more because I finally got the joke.
All right, with
Wow.
that horrible statement out of the way, I hope your resolutions do happen. Goodbye. We're great at this, I'll have you know. We're great at this.